Yo, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Slot 1 Super Podcast. We are live for episode 8. Can't believe it's been 8 weeks already. So,
that's wild.
yeah, I know. We are here for a brand new episode. And my light is super bright.
I thought it's been 7 weeks, actually.
There we go. Wow.
Did I miss a week?
Yeah, this is. Oh, yeah. So our boy went missing along with the Rose EZA. Yeah, that was a good one. But but yeah, so we are here for episode 8. I, of course, am the Masked Ningen. I'll be doing the main hosting role today. But of course, as always, my two boys are here with me. So directly on the right on the screen is Mr. Minato's Flash. How's it going?
Hello. I'm drinking coffee from a Cane's cup.
Well, there you go. Living that high life. High roller over here. And then we have the man, the animations himself, Dokkan Assets, aka Theo, on the far right. How are you doing today?
I'm good, honestly. I'm chilling. I'm a little bit kind of mellowed out because I'm pretty tired, but I'm in that good kind of mood. So we're chilling. We're chilling.
Okay, well, we are here for a whole bunch of stuff, things going on both versions today. One thing I wanted to give a quick shout out. I know this is affecting Minato. I don't know about Theo, but the shout out to all the JP players going through it right now, having to choose whether or not to grind the World Tournament or play Spider-Man 2, which came out today. So
someone said they couldn't hear me because I heard chat. Help me, please. I don't know.
Yeah, your thing's making noise for me. So
okay, well it should be fine. Maybe Prof just sucks. Anyways, continue on.
I've turned your volume up as well.
You can't just slam in a man like that.
I know.
You know.
That's wild. That's wild.
Absolutely crazy. Well, anyway, we are here for the latest episode. We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about for both versions. World Tournament is something we'll get into in a little bit, but we'll talk about something that came out just before that for JP. It leads into the joined Dokkan, the global topic as well when it comes to the new coins and whatnot. But of course, the first thing that we can talk about when we go over to the other screen here is the new hype. I'm sure everyone's super excited, right? You all went through your barrels and barrels of stones to summon for Tech, LR, Ribrianne, Rosie, and Kakunsa.
That's what it's all about.
So yeah, as the resident global main, this is a unit that I've read their details. I haven't watched any of the showcases on them, so I'll pass it over to Minato to start us off. I know you said you did a couple of summons. I don't know if you actually pulled them, but give us your thoughts on the goddesses over here.
Wait, is this their TUR?
No, this is the LR, right?
TUR.
Oh, is it?
That's the TUR.
Yeah, that's the TUR.
That's not how LRR looks, buddy.
What? Wait,
really showing your globalness right now, bro. What?
Global player moment. I'm not even going to change it. Global player moment. There you go.
That is a global player moment.
I was staring at that. I was like, where are they in the background?
If you're listening on Spotify, what happens is Ningen puts the art up on the screen. If you're just listening, not watching, right? And he's put the TUR up there when he puts the LR.
In my defense, I brought up a tweet that had all of the arts in it. The first picture was, I'm pretty sure, the SSR, and the second picture was this one. And just because of the shading, I was like, that must be the LR one.
That's not even LR shading.
I know.
That's not.
It's more shaded than the SSR though.
Here. I'm sending the LR art in the chat right now.
Unbelievable.
That's the shading of an LR, bro.
Well, they're basically the same.
I could tell you that's a TUR from a mile away. That's crazy.
Well, maybe I'll change it, maybe I won't. It's really difficult to change because if I try and change it, it's going to be way too big, and I'm going to have to resize it.
He's sitting there no, I don't think I will.
No, you know what? In fact, let me try. I'll try and save it directly over the existing one, and let's see what happens.
Not me.
Minato and I have become Ribrianne.
I know. Look at these Ribrianne fans over here.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the unit while you're doing your thing, and
go for it, bro.
But so Ribrianne actually did 3 multis because I wanted to show off like the guaranteed future. That's Pilaf, buddy. I want to show off the guaranteed future SSR stuff.
There you go. The right art was there all the time.
There it is. It's still over my face, but
There we go. Okay.
But I would say that they seem to be pretty solid. I actually haven't used them myself. I did not pull them, but I did watch some showcases of them. I've seen some other people use it on some very funny little game versions, right? But anyways, so I will say that they seemed very RNG dependent, and I would say they're still RNG dependent, right? Past turn 1, they need like the orbs changing to go their way. They need to be above a certain HP threshold. They need to get their additional super attacks off. But once they super attack, their defense actually can get to a pretty reasonable amount. And especially if we're running them on the tournament participants team, we have the androids like double turn support that they can get. Even on Power of Wishes, you have like Boma. They link pretty solidly with Boma as well. So like there are setups where they could actually look pretty good. And this unit themselves, they're not bad. Especially if you get the giant form off, you can even cancel AoEs, which is their one weakness. But I just still like, it's not really issue that is only unique to them, so I'm not really gonna like necessarily 100% critique them on that. But they keep releasing these units that get all of their defense on super attack when, like, for the past year, all the most difficult bosses have been AoE attacks.
Yeah.
Sin, Omega, Fusion Zamasu, and even Broly last year when he was the hardest fight in the game, he had an AoE super attack turn, right? So like it's always been these AoE super attacks that have basically led to the hardest fights in this red zone meta. So them still continuing to release these units like that, it's just basically telling us don't run them in these events. They're not going to be useful in the hardest fights. So it kind of like will distract you from summoning. And especially since this is like the first pity character, I would have assumed they would have made them a little better and less RNG dependent. But if you do get them to go off, they can cook. I mean, they are able to eat most super attacks in the game. Even like the Goku Black Red Zone. I saw a clip of them like against the STR phase eating double-digit damage from his super attack, which is
pretty
really
good.
impressive. That's super, because that super attack gets for like what 1.5 mil. Their defense can get really high, but again, like that's them doing quad super attack, and you have to be maybe you're under 66% HP, maybe you don't get any of the orb changing at all, and you just kind of suffer. But usually, from what I've seen, they're able to change a good amount of the field to the tech orbs a lot of the times. They could heal a solid amount of HP. That built-in crit, so you can like go full dodge with them, and then maybe even avoid AoEs in general. Again, the giant form is just useful in general for being able to nullify enemy super attacks. So they have they have a lot of they have a lot of like power in them.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. I do think that they could have had a little bit more, but they are probably better than a lot of people are thinking they are, based on what I'm seeing. I don't know where exactly I'd rank them because unfortunately I have not used them myself, but I like them a lot. I think that they can cook. So, yeah.
Okay, wow. Theo, do you have anything to add to that? Did you summon for them? Have you experienced the new pity system firsthand?
I thought you were gonna. I thought when I heard you make a P sound after the new, I thought you were gonna say the new peak. I was gonna be like,
I mean, come on, top peak choice for an LR, right? Everyone's super hyped.
I mean, honestly, this character I've been saying for a while that they should get an LR.
So it's Minato's fault.
I think that I think that, I don't know. They feel like they always felt like Yellow Coin LR to me rather than like Dokkan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they were gonna get an LR, right, they definitely don't like seem like a Dokkan Fest LR.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think that like honestly, when it comes to them, right, I do agree with Minato that I feel like honestly, for me with this one, it kind of felt like more of a matter of when and not necessarily if, because I don't know. I just feel like that they're a unit that has just been kind of cooking on the like LR back burner potential for a fat minute now. I think the only thing that was a little bit confusing for me about this LR is that I know a lot of the time when they like make these kind of in between LRs like this, right? Like you might call it like a filler banner or something like that. they usually make them like cracked out of their mind, so then people are a lot more incentivized to summon. And not that they're like terrible, right? They're not like, the worst unit in the game or anything, but it's just surprising to me that for a unit that they know is supposed to be like something that kind of just, yoinks some of your stones before some bigger stuff coming down the line. It's just surprising to me that they're not like a lot better. So I don't know. But all right, I guess. This is definitely a unit for me though that I will personally be skipping. And probably just like wait until later to, pull them unfeatured or something like that, or get them with coins. So also the image isn't centered. I had to say it. I'm sorry.
That is actually the same for me.
It's killing me, bro.
I decided that I was I only did the 3 multis. If I was gonna get them, cool. But I'm actually going to skip. I'm going to buy the sales for the next Dokkan Fest, which I don't know if you saw it again. They did actually make the sales better for this banner too. You know how I think it's usually for for the Tree My Goku. I'm not sure if it was the same on Global.
Yeah, I think Global got better sales than usual this time as well.
Yeah, because of the pity. But for JP, Yellowcorn, well, usually in the past, Yellowcorn LR banners actually never got sales. Global always got sales for them, but JP never did. And I want to say Tournament of Power. Tree My Goku got sell packs where it's like 1 30 pack, and then I think it was 3 90 packs. But now it's 3 30 packs, a 60 pack, and then 6 90 packs that were on sales. So they're actually pretty good. Was that the same on Global?
I actually can't remember off the top of my head because I have already bought them all, so I don't remember what they were.
Oh, okay. I just remember that they made the sales themselves better. So I'm just going. Well, I pay attention to the sales because it's interesting. Because Super Trunks actually got really bad.
I think I
sales.
can check the news.
Yes, Super Trunks got really bad sales. They gave less sale packs than normal for some reason.
Because also, doesn't remember, Global is going to have the Peppy Gals banner. We're obviously going to talk about this, but the Global's going to have the Peppy Gals banner dropping on Monday, and there won't be any new sales, will they? So that's potentially another reason. Yeah, it was the 32 pack 3 times. There was a one-off 60 pack for the price of 32, and then the 91 pack was 6 times.
Yeah, so that's the same as on JP. And that's because of the pity. I'm assuming they want people to spend on the pity because Yellowcorn banners are underperforming, and that's why they added it in the first place. We'll talk about that later, but yeah.
So Ribrianne, I mean, my thoughts were kind of the same. To me, it's a character that I couldn't care less about. If the card was super busted, that'd be awesome. But yeah, otherwise it's weird because it's not so much. I don't care necessarily about them picking a character that I don't like if they're going to be on like tons of top tier teams and stuff like that. But when they pick a character that's on like a certain number of categories and has certain links that maybe don't go super well with other characters, it's a bit of an interesting choice. Like, you think the kit doesn't even really matter that much. Like, if they had slapped this kit on another unit but made it like a character people were more interested in summoning for, I feel like it would be slightly better received, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Because like we said, the kit isn't that bad, but then if you're throwing them with other units that are really good because it was like a Saiyan unit or something like that, it would potentially have more like viability. Like if this was an LR Caulifla that you could then just throw on Kale's team, right? Like I think maybe it would be slightly better received. But I mean, they don't seem bad, right, for sure. But I said slightly better. Who knows?
Yeah, but I like if it, obviously, like you said, if it was like a Saiyan, they would just have more options. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Like this unit doesn't really have like a great linking partner, which is one of their downsides. Yeah. Which it's really weird. I actually expected them to I expected them to EZA the physical.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
like her, and then the
that's a good point.
Yeah, her, the Tech 17 and the Tech 18. I thought they were all gonna be like an Extreme Z battle, but that didn't happen. There's still technically like a week period before like the week after where it's the next Dokkan Fest again. So I mean next week's data download maybe has like that Extreme Z battle, but who knows? Right? We'll just have to wait and see how that's gonna work. I think that there could be one more Extreme Z battle before the end of the month, but maybe it's just gonna be a dead week next week, right?
Well, plus that's the thing, we've seen that Dokkan has a habit of releasing these new LRs or new units without then releasing the specific things that would actually work super well to help them. Because I said the same thing, right? When we saw that it was her, it was like, oh well, are they gonna EZA, physical Ribrianne at the same time or something? Because who are you running with her? Like, you're not really running the int Brienne or like the free to play Ribrianne anymore.
Ironically enough, I looked it up. Speaking of that, and the only the funny thing that you say that is like their best linking buddies are quite literally like every Ribrianne, Cocoons, and Rosie, right? Whether it be like the summonable ones or the free to play ones, they all share 5 links. And of course, the funny the funny like fake Ribrianne squad also.
Oh, the side banner unit, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could definitely run any of those. I guess at that point, bare minimum, at least they have like a link buddy that's free, because at that rate, you could just grab Cocoons or Rosie or Ribrianne, because there's obviously free units of all of them. But yeah, I don't know, because obviously, like, the only unit that I feel like really has potential to kind of like be good on their own here really is Fizz Ribrianne if she got an EZA. So yeah, I don't know. It's strange, honestly.
I mean, I think that the 18 could be solid. If we're talking about the 18 and the 17, like the 18 has an interesting super attack effect. I think it's like a 6-turn 30% defense race, which is what made her good back then. So
and she's a tech orb changer, which obviously works nicely for these guys and the in androids. So that's pretty good.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, the thing, physical Ribrianne, just make her like slot 1 guard 50% reduction and give her support. Easy, right?
There you go, easy. Yeah, just do that. So interesting. Interesting choice for the first pity banner for JP. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we move on to Global's banner, but we'll stay on JP for now and talk about the other big thing that is, of course, going on right now. Some of you guys may be listening to this while there you go. Some of you guys may be listening to this while going through it yourselves, and that is, of course, going to be the World Tournament. Yes, the Grand Tenkaichi Budokai. So before we get stuck into this exhilarating topic, just a quick reminder that if you guys want to help support the podcast, if you have any questions, comments, or shout outs, we will read all donations and super chats at the end of the show. So we will keep an eye out for them and probably put some thank yous just in the chat, but just bear in mind those will all get read out at the end. So any questions, shout outs, comments, all that stuff, super chats and donations read at the end. So, World Tournament, right? Everybody's favorite game mode. Yeah, we all love it. Some interesting changes on JP. Before we'll change the image here, so we don't want these guys up on the screen anymore. So the first big change is, of course, the release of a new World Tournament LR, which is the LR Pilaf Gang. And they will, of course, be they're the local reward, right? So that's what you guys are going to be fighting hard for over this weekend. See if you can get 2 copies instead of just 1. Because I'm assuming I didn't see anyone posting about it, but I'm assuming it's still only top 1, like first local gets 2 copies, right?
If it was top 3,
I feel like they really should change it. Yeah,
they should change that. I hate that it's just like just that one spot.
And honestly, like, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit too much to ask, but I swear, like, I don't know, fighting for top 1 for only 2 copies feels a little like
what if it was just a rainbow? Just rainbow them.
I don't know, like, maybe rainbow is too much. I don't know, because it doesn't incentivize you playing anymore. Even though with it, I would like that, right? Like, I'm not saying that would be a bad change, because obviously, like, anything that benefits a player is good, but I don't know. I feel like it should at least be 3, because, like, dude, you're telling me I'm, like, staying up for hours and hours doing the same thing just to only get, like, the 69%, like, bro.
Yeah.
And it's because it's the only way to get the extra copy, So if it was, like, if number 1 got 3 copies, but then it was, like, top 5 or something, or top 10 got 2, and then everyone else gets 1. I feel like it would be a bit less sweaty, because I've been through, you guys know, I don't know if you've had the exact same experiences, but I had a couple of world tournaments ago on Global, where I had one of the guys who literally always finishes in like the top 3 overall in the world in my local. So it was literally impossible for me to get number 1. So shout out to Cuckoo, but literally it was impossible for me to get number 1. So Very, very
day-
frustrating that is the only way to get 2 copies. So
Yeah.
The day that happens, I cry and I just get 30 mil.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, at
But,
that point, it's just like you might as well. It's like, well, I'm only getting 1 copy anyway, right? So it's just
That's why-
that's true.
That's all right now. I'm like so sad, but I'm gonna have to prioritize this over Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
What am I gonna do if I get 1 copy now? The next World Tournament, I get like a top 5 player in my local, and then guess
No,
what?
you're right.
I can't rainbow the LR the next one.
yeah, because that's the thing. You want to try and make sure across the you got like 3 world tournaments, and in one of those 3, you can afford to only get 1. But the other 2, you have to get 2. So at least
Well,
2 out of 3 world tournaments, you have to finish first. If you are like, if you want to rainbow the unit to make content or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't necessarily need to. It's not like, well, if you make content, you better have rainbow LRPF. It doesn't work like that, obviously. But like, I do go for it as well.
There is a whole stigma of like, oh, you need the unit rainbowed. You really only need the unit 79%. As long as you're funny and quirky like me, then you're good.
I mean, I don't know. The only thing for me is like, obviously, like I don't do like showcase videos and stuff, and like I can tell you firsthand that I know this is kind of ironic considering I suppose it's still possible to get shafted on a world tournament LR. Sorry, truth with your LR Piccolo shenanigans.
Oh my god.
Old school.
Like, for me personally, right? I know for like LRTN, right, and LR Piccolo himself, I have so many dupes. I could probably rainbow them again or another time, right? And that's not only just from obviously playing like every world tournament and getting a copy of them at least. Like I think there's maybe been 1 world tournament where I didn't get like the local LR reward. But obviously now that there is the summons, right, and the LRs are unfeatured on like the guaranteed SSR summon pool, I cannot tell you how many times I've been like, all right, let's get some world tournament units, and then I see the LR animation play, and I'm like, no, please, I don't want another copy. Literally, I think the only time I'll ever not be excited for a Vegito Blue animation in Dokkan because I'm like, please don't give me any more copies. I can't use them. I don't know. I feel like obviously that will take like a really long time to get to that point, I suppose, because obviously by then they would have to be out of rotation and in the featured pool. But still, I don't know. I feel like if you like don't really care about them that much, right, and it's just like you just want to have them, it's not that big of a deal because eventually you'll just get a bunch of them. So I don't know. Yeah. That's my casual player take right there.
I see.
Yes, sir. I'm shouting out to all the casuals in the audience.
But no, I agree with that. If you've been someone who's been playing the world tournaments at least since they introduced like Piccolo and stuff, there is nothing worse now than getting the LR animation on those world tournament summons. It's like, no, please, I don't need any more.
Please, no.
Yeah, so LR Pilaf himself. So obviously, I think there have been private server showcases made, obviously, because the data's in the game. Obviously, no actual players can have them yet. But what are your guys' thoughts on their overall performance? Minato, we'll start with you.
I think that from what I've seen, they actually like you look at them on paper and they don't necessarily look that great. But then you use them in game and you have like Pat the Park and Goku around, you have Bulma around, right? And a lot of these support units that Dragon Ball Saga just has, just in general. And they do look better than you would think that they would. Plus another thing is that when they first came out, if you saw the calcs when they like first like came in the Data download, they actually had the wrong hidden potential system.
Oh yeah, they had to fix it, didn't they?
So they had to fix it. So the initial calculations that you may have seen probably weren't correct because their stats were higher, right?
That's crazy.
So, and then when you consider the support, they actually can look pretty decent. My only gripe is I wish that they still raised their defense on their super attack effects. But for just a world tournament free to play LR, I like them. I think that they seem very fun, right? If you get the tech orb, they have like the high chance to dodge. And I think they could actually work pretty well in difficult content, right? And one good thing too, they actually have Thirst for Conquest, which you can get with Ma Junior on that team. So that's cool as well.
That is cool.
I like them. I think they seem like just a fun unit they're kind of actually a little similar to Ribrianne, where they have like the RNG orb changing. Not as good because it's kind of like, you know, at least Ribrianne has like a guaranteed type that they change it from. Well,
Yeah.
this unit could be one of 3 types. So it's interesting in that way, but you could like if you play around the field right, you could get their passive that you want a lot of the times from what I'm seeing. But yeah, I like them. They're cool.
Yeah, Theo, what about you?
Nice. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm more on the funny PNG side of things. Honestly, right? I like this unit. I think they're cool. It is a little bit unfortunate, right, in terms of the kit. I never really expect like these World Tournament units to be anything crazy when it comes to the LR, which is a bit of a shame because it's like it would be nice if they made them like obviously they can't be like the best unit in the game or anything because obviously not everybody will be able to get them, but you know, I wish still that they made them like even a little bit better because obviously then it kind of would incentivize even more trying to grind for those top spots to get them. But I think definitely in terms of their animations, obviously they look really good. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was actually pretty impressed with these. This is one of those units that like it's very simple animations. It's very like not basic, but it's not like, you know, there's not like crazy shenanigans happening in their like super attack animations, you know, where like half these units in the game are like blasting planets away on the screen. But I think the animations are super fluid in terms of the animation, and they're also just very like Dragon Ball-esque. Like I feel like Dokkan really is in their bag when it comes to Dragon Ball units and kind of like stylizing them like that original Dragon Ball style. I quite like that a lot. So, oh yeah. So I think they did a very good job with that. But overall, I like them. I think they're really cool. It's nice to finally have like a card of these 3 as well because, I think, well, obviously, like there's not an individual card of 2, right? And I don't think there's an individual card of Pilaf either, is there?
I think isn't there an individual like a?
Oh no,
rare
there
shoe?
might be a rare shoe. That's right.
I'm pretty sure there's a rare shoe.
I think there is a
fraud.
rare shoe. But regardless, though, like there isn't a good card.
I'm gonna look. No. I'm
Yeah, go on and look. Yeah, double check me on that for sure.
Yeah, because I know there's the
but either way,
rare
though,
Pilaf machine, but
yeah, that too. Yeah, I guess that technically counts. You so see that was something else that I kind of found interesting about this card.
I'm a liar.
Is it like
there's
you are?
there's no shoe, but there's a shoe item.
yeah.
Okay, I thought there was a rare shoe too, so I guess we're both hallucinating, and we're having a Mandela effect moment, bro.
There's a rare shoe.
I swear there's a rare shoe as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we literally are having a Mandela effect moment right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing that I do find a little bit interesting about this unit though is that like they are called right Pilaf Mayan Shoe, but they are like realistically they're almost more like the Pilaf machine unit, right? Because obviously the intro is like them getting in the different pieces and then all the animations have them in the actual machine, right? So it's kind of interesting that they didn't like it's clear in the card art that that's like the case, right? Because it's in the background. It's kind of funny too because in the super attack version of the card art it cuts out the Pilaf machine because it's just the character art, which is kind of funny looking with all the open space in the background. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me that they didn't like call this card like Pilaf Machine or something like that. I mean, I guess that kind of doesn't make sense, but still.
I mean, it makes sense because there's the Machine Pilaf rare card.
Oh, it is called Pilaf Machine. Okay.
Yeah,
that one.
This LR is Pilaf Shu and Mai. I guess it's probably just because of the intro.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess that's probably the case.
No, it's because they're waiting to drop the Dokkan Fest Pilaf machine, and then they can link together. You know.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like low key though. That kind of stinks then if they ever do decide to drop like another triple Pilaf Mayan Shoe unit, right? Where it's like a premium unit or something of them, because then I assume they'll be the same name as these guys, or if their name was like Pilaf Machine.
Like it could be like a Dokkan Fest Kid Goku versus Demon King Piccolo, and one of the banner units like Pilaf Machine.
Yeah.
I doubt it would be, but
yeah, I don't know. Could still be cool though. But yeah, I just found that kind of interesting. But that definitely makes sense, and I would assume that it's probably just because of the intro animation that they're not just called Pilaf Machine. But overall, though, pretty cool LR.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know, obviously, like you're saying, that World Tournament LRs are not like you say, like the best units in the game or anything like that.
Right.
But I remember the in Jackie Chun was actually pretty good for a while, because obviously against non like AoE bosses and stuff like that, right? Him having the damage reduction that he gets after he hits the enemy with his super attack. Like even by the time, like even when 23rd World Tournament Goku came out for Golden Week this year, he was kind of like a viable option on his team for some of the tougher bosses. So it is cool when these units actually do get some use. So I guess once it's in the game and we see people trying them out a bit more in different events, it'll be interesting to see if they have any more viability. So
I don't know if I do still use that Jackie Chun on my World Tournament team, because he actually links
Okay.
good with my junior.
Nice. Because doesn't he support? Does he support World Tournament or?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, he
it's World
supports
Tournament,
something, right?
50%.
Yeah.
So it's like put that with my junior, then you get him a lot of support, and usually you're just using my junior to finish the boss.
Yeah, exactly. Well, plus because of the whole like full team of LRs and team cost thing, right? So isn't he? Because the free to play ones are all 99 cost, aren't they? So
Yeah, exactly,
having him on the team works quite nicely. So, but yeah, very cool. So I didn't get up individual images for all of these guys because we don't have to spend a huge amount of time talking about them. I know technically they are live in the game because they go live as soon as the World Tournament comes out. But we obviously have 4 new EZAs. Shout out to Minato, and he posted the translations the other day. We went through them on stream when they dropped. I didn't make it into a video. We just kind of checked them out in the morning there. But we have the AGL Final Form Cooler, the Tech Ultimate Gohan, Int Super Trunks, and the AGL Great Ape Goku. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time going over each of them in like great detail, but I just seem to remember that myself and most of the chat were pretty disappointed by most of them. I can't remember exactly what they all do. So, Minato, I know you posted them all. I don't know if you've actually had a chance to use them because I assume you probably just jumped into the World Tournament straight away. But out of the 4, what are your thoughts? Are any of them actually decent or are they all terrible? Could you find some use for any of them? Let me know what you think.
I think they all suck except maybe Cooler.
Okay.
You could build up dodge, but I think my worry is that like what happens with Cooler is he needs to get like 3 whole turns to build up his 50% dodge. And then it's like, oh, turn 1, you have a 20% dodge chance, and then you don't get it off, and then you die because he has like probably like 400k, 500k defense maybe.
Because is it him that has like he has the additional attacks, but they're like, isn't it rare chance to become a super, which is it's like 10. Is it like 10 or 15%? I always forget what rare is.
Yeah, it's like Blue Evolution Vegeta. It's like 10-15%. It's
shocking.
Like, if theoretically he gets like a quad super turn 1, he should be able to tank a lot of normals because he has like bad bosses. There's God, I'm choking because he's so bad. Bad bosses, thirst for conquest. Those kind of links that give you a lot. So I think that he has potential, but then he's not gonna be a unit you keep on rotation to build up the dodge. So he's like kind of floating around, and then you have to build it up. I feel like they should have made the dodge chance like just higher, so you could build it up quicker. Because he has to get so many attacks off to get that off. I think it's 10 attacks, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think he's the one who has potential, right? You could run him probably against like Omega if you hide him the first phase really well. Then he could cook, the STR phase. He'll have to dodge, build up, and even the in phase, right? He has the high chance to dodge. He'll still be dodge or die, but he has like the chance to live a lot of these, really tough attacks. Compared to like Kid Goku would die, Ultimate Gohan would die. Super Trunks is just RNG, just like the Dokkan Fest. So it's like, oh, you're just dead because my proc didn't proc. So good, right? But yeah, it sucks because like the first World Tournament batch was like pretty solid, but then now it's just like a lot of these guys are like a little underwhelming, and it's like they're just I guess afraid or something. I don't know, like why they can't make these units viable, but they're free to play at the end of the day, and
yeah.
But like if we're talking realistically, you're not really gonna go out everybody uses guys over a lot of different other options. So
true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Theo, any additional thoughts? Any interesting looking ones for you, or?
Unfortunately, I definitely have what's the word I'm looking for? Nada. That's the word I'm looking for. Zilch. Nothing to say about these guys.
Zip
Unfortunately,
zero.
I mean, I guess at the bare minimum, right? It's good to see that they have EZAs now, but like, obviously, it kind of thinks that they're not great. I mean, I think I don't know. It's always interesting that or it is always interesting rather it's interesting that I feel like nowadays rather um I don't know, I keep seeing them make these easy A's for the world tournament units, and like, you know, sometimes they're not that great, and that's like the main reward now, right? Like they haven't been
Yeah.
introducing new
yeah.
easy A's at all, or easy A's, they haven't been introducing new characters rather for the world tournament. I'm like,
I
bro,
mean, once in a while they did. I think last World Tournament didn't we get a new character? I forgot who it was.
did
but,
we?
yeah, last World
Huh?
Tournament we did get a new
Was it?
reward card. I think. Oh,
Let
no,
me
we got
look.
we got an
I'll look.
awakening for the future Gohan. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
yeah.
Um,
Right.
But we also, well, technically this World Tournament we did get a new card, right? The Pilaf, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean like a
new
new
reward.
prize card rather. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just think it's so weird that like that's now what they've like prioritized. I don't know. It almost makes me think that this is some huge copium, but like this is my crackhead tinfoil hat theory, I guess.
Okay.
It almost makes me wonder if like what they're trying to do is maybe like eventually phase out World Tournament or something like that, because since they're stopping new World Tournament characters, right? There has been nothing new in terms of like a brand new prize unit for a little while now, and they've just been like easing the World Tournament units in batches. It almost makes me wonder if like once they finish easying all the World Tournament units, they're just gonna be like, all right, no more World Tournament, we're making something new or something like that. Because I don't know, like, what's gonna happen when they run out of World Tournament EZAs? Like, when they run out of units to EZA, are they just gonna go back to, you know, giving you prize cards and then, you know, like make like, you know, however many prize cards it took to get to the point where we're only getting EZAs, and then just restart the cycle? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just wonder
Yeah.
what happens when they run out.
Yeah, because that cycle of like the way they were releasing was so bad as well. Because the SSR would come out and then they wouldn't get an awakening for like at least a year, and most of them, they started making some of them a little bit stronger, but especially a lot of the older ones, like as an SSR, we were getting these new world tournaments, and then the reward card was a card that was like, well, I'm not going to use this until it'll maybe when it awakens it might be good, right? So
Maybe, not even
imagine if they went
guaranteed.
back to imagine they finished EZAing all these units, and then all of a sudden we go back to just getting like an SSR that doesn't awaken. It's like, what is the point of this, right?
I would be excited. Well, speaking of awakenings, I'm excited for the Khalifa and the Kale and Khalifa. They could be interesting.
They could be good. There's a couple of the cards that I think could be interesting. I don't know how soon it will be till that EZA comes around, because I was actually surprised to learn it wasn't that long ago that he actually got his TUR awakening. I think it was only like 2 years ago or something. But there's that STR High School Gohan that was like super relevant for ages after he awakened, because he's like a support unit with damage reduction. So his EZA could potentially be really, really good, but I don't know how many world tournaments away that will be. But
the EGO Kid Gohan, I think he's upcoming soon for an awakening. Yeah. So the EGO Kid Gohan, the next world tournament is going to be that STR Universe 6 Goku, the Super Saiyan one. There's going to be physical 23rd world tournament Goku, and then that EGO Kid Gohan. Then the one after is when High School Gohan awakens. So next world tournament, we're going to get the EZA for the AGO Broly movie Gohan. The one after, we're going to get the one for the High School Gohan. So, I mean, there's two.
Yeah, that AGL Gohan was really good. I remember using him on my like physical Vegito Blue superclass team back in the day. Like, so
I really do
very
think
interesting.
That High School Gohan, it's going to be damage reduction EZAs are usually like pretty difficult to mess up. At bare minimum, he'll probably be able to tank normals very easily from like most bosses once he awakens.
Yeah,
because they usually like give bare minimum like that. So that'll be interesting. A character that I'm excited to awaken to in the future is that Tech Super Saiyan Gohan from the Cell
Yeah, the
games.
one with the apple,
He's-
right?
yeah.
He's
He's
super
a
good.
long
Yeah.
time away because he's like 9 world tournaments after the future.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious what they're gonna do, you know, in the future.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they just don't have a plan yet. Like they probably just don't have a plan
Yeah,
yet.
I don't know. Maybe they
Because-
just haven't thought about it because I didn't even think about that until now. Like, what happens when they run out since they're only doing EZAs? It's not like it's just one every time, you know, like it's a bunch of them.
So they're probably just doing them right now. Then when it's like like when they get to the EZA for freaking I don't know, just one of these I don't know.
Yeah, when they get to the end
close
game, yeah.
Near the end, they're gonna be like, okay, like in like 4 world tournaments from now, they'll be thinking about it and like, okay, we're running out of these characters. What should we do next? Right.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm curious to see if they do like at that rate. Maybe they just like change the game mode or something like that. Because how many world tournaments does an LR stick around for? Like the local reward?
It's quite a
There's
few,
couple world
'cause-
tournaments. Jackie Chun right here. I have it brought up. Jackie Chun was around for 5 world tournaments. So was all the LRs are usually around for like 5 world tournaments.
Damn.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So would they be done with all the units by the end of Pilaf's like reign?
I don't
actually
think
with the awakenings,
so.
I think pretty much.
Awakenings,
the next
maybe.
5 world tournaments. What they could do is they could just awaken
Interesting.
the characters and easy them, which I don't like them doing that, but that's probably what they're going to start doing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's going to be like there's just going to be one reward card that comes out with an instant TUR and an instant EZA.
I mean, the only thing they could do, I guess, is if they bring out the new reward cards and like just give them an instant TUR, but then obviously not an instant EZA. But they have to make it so that the TURs are good enough when they release that then they're usable for at least a little while, and then they get an EZA a little bit later. But well, yeah, exactly. It's always weird though, because like some of them have been, like we said, like that Tech Gohan when he came out. Especially for like some of the content that was a little bit longer, like he was actually pretty decent. And then you get other World Tournament units come out and they're just terrible straight out of the gate. It's just very weird, like what kind of metric they use.
Is at this point they plan these free-to-play TURs already with their EZAs in mind, and we don't know if they like you would even bought these characters or not by the time they actually EZA because they probably know when they're gonna come out. So at that point, I'd rather they just like EZA the character. Because then it's probably like they release like 6 months later, 7 months later, and then they just give them the same EZA that they planned like a year ago, and then they don't change anything. So I'd rather get the EZA while they had it planned out at a time where they would be good than them getting a bad EZA like 7 months later, right?
Yeah.
You can think of it that way. It just depends. We don't know what they do if they like actually update the EZA card or not. So yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah. Plus, we've talked about this before, but like I don't mind as much if a unit comes out and gets an EZA like straight away if it's a free to play unit, because it's one of those things where it's like rather than giving them a TUR and then waiting to EZA them, and then like you said, there could be all kinds of issues with that or something. It's like if you bring out a free to play unit and give them an EZA straight away, then in like 6 months time you just bring out a new free to play unit because they're free, so it doesn't matter. But it's when it's like summonable units. I know they don't really ever do that, right? They did it the one time with that Broly, which was very unfortunate because he's still the only wrathful Broly in the game and he was very cool when he first came out. That would be stupid, right? EZA them straight away seems very pointless, and then you can't do anything with them again in the future. With the free-to-play unit, you don't necessarily need to be able to do something with them again in the future because you can just bring out another one because they're free.
Imagine if that Raffle Broly like EZA during the 7th anniversary. Like,
yeah, exactly. Instead, like imagine how good he could have been. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Like for summonable units, kind of different because again, like they haven't brought out a Raffle Broly, but like they could always just push out like some random free-to-play character again, like Super Saiyan Trunks Future. Like that's gonna get another card in like the next year or something maybe. Or next year or two, right? Or even like I don't know. I'm trying to think of another character that just got an instant EZA, like a 17. They get 17 and 18s, right? Let's say they get instant EZAs later, like next week. Then it's like still okay. Well, we're still gonna get another 17, 18 in the future, right?
Right.
A lot of these free-to-play characters, will usually get replacements. It's only the very like niche characters where it's kind of like, let's say Trunks, Marin, and Goten. Like that's a card that wouldn't get another like character,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
pretty
That's
much ever, right. So it really depends. I think it's more so like on what character it is rather than if it's necessarily free to play or not.
Right. That's fair.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, if it's a niche character as well, like, even depending on where it's from, because, like, those free-to-play, like the 17 and 18, they're obviously Tournament of Power related. Like, if they didn't EZA in this celebration, they potentially won't get one until there is another Universe Survival Saga themed celebration of some kind, and that could be, like, over a year from now, for all we know. And it's just one of those things. It's fine if they do that. They just have to make the TUR Awakenings good enough that they're at least somewhat usable for now. And then when they EZA them a year later, it's not a unit that's been sat in your box like ever since they got their TUR Awakening and just never had any use for them, right? It's like, that's the thing. I'd rather a free-to-play unit get an EZA straight away and be usable for a short amount of time, and then a new free-to-play unit comes out later on, than that happening, right? You just get a free-to-play TUR that's not really useful for anything, and then maybe they get a good EZA in the future. Now, obviously, the fix for that is just give them actual good TURs in the first place, but obviously you never know when it comes to Dokkan with free-to-play stuff, so...
Dokkan will be Dokkan.
Exactly, but there you go. So World Tournament on JP in full swing. You guys still have plenty of time left to go.
I love World Tournament.
I'm sure you guys.
So much fun. That's all I've been doing.
That is all I've been doing as well.
I just been looking down the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, chat, for not looking at you. You know, Pilaf Gang.
I'll give you one good stare.
It's outrageous. Oh no, terrifying. Oh God.
There you go. Hope that's
well, there you go. There's stuff of nightmares right there. So let's
new material for you on the Twitter timeline.
Sleep paralysis.
Now you don't need any more of me from here on out. You could be like, no, thank you.
All right, so we will move swiftly on then over to global. Where we can go back to, we did touch on it very briefly. I know I saw our boy Dr. Pritch asking a question in the chat, so we'll get on to that as well. But we will be going back into the LR territory, the Pity banner, the new system. And that is, of course, talking about our boy who has just now come to global, the Int Spirit Bomb LR Goku. Well,
move on.
No, see, I don't agree with that, though. So, no, we can't say that.
So. Trash, garbage.
No. You started off fine. You started off fine when you said mediocre. That's fine, but calling him trash, garbage, no.
Okay. So well, obviously he's not actually trash or garbage, but you know what I mean when I say that. Actually,
well, anyway, so this guy just came out on global. He is our new yellow coin LR. Well, silver coin LR banner. The introduction of the pity system to global. I did my summons for him this morning on stream. I got decently lucky. I didn't actually pull him at all from the summons, but I picked him up with the coins. But
the pity, okay.
It went very well because obviously, as we know, we didn't go into the details of this when we were talking about Ribrianne, but as we know, right, or I'm sure you guys know at this point, if you're in the chat or if you're listening to this later on, it costs 200 silver coins to pick up a new copy of Goku or Ribrianne if you're on JP. You can only do it once, so it's one time only, and just like any other coins, you get 10 coins per multi. So obviously, if you break that down, that means 20 multis to get 200 coins, which is 1,000 stones. However,
really good.
Which not only is that good, I mean, remember last week when we were speculating about pity, you know, people have always thrown around numbers like 1,000 stones, but people were thinking things like 1,500 or maybe even 2,000 was potentially realistic based on things that Dokkan has done in the past with like pricing and stuff like that. So for it to only be 1,000 stones, I thought was really good. But then the real kicker, which I think took everybody by surprise, is the fact that just like every other banner in the game that we have now, any SSRs that you pull that you already have rainbow can be exchanged for 3 silver coins each, which is insane. If you are somebody that's been playing the game for a long time and has most of the units, right? Like for me, it took me 650 stones to get 200 silver coins. So that's 350 stones less than it should take you to get to the pity. Right. But in those multis, I had a bunch of multis where I pulled like 3 or 4 SSRs, and they were all ones that I didn't need. So I basically got like 70 coins just from exchanging, and you only need 200. So I got almost half the coins for this Goku just from the extra SSRs that I pulled. So I have to say, like, in terms of pity systems that I've seen on other banners and stuff, that like in other games, that is pretty damn good. Now, obviously, the instant trade-off that people will say if you try and compare it to other games is obviously the fact that for now, for Dokkan, it is only on the yellow coin banners, which are very often not necessarily the best banners to summon on, right? But very, very good, very generous pity system. So, Theo, I don't know if you play any other gachas as well, but I mean, do you? I mean, I think you do, right? So, would you agree that this is a very good system that Dokkan has introduced?
Yeah. So, your boy has quite the repertoire of gacha games under his belt. I remember I did this in like a Q&A video where I like listed every single gacha game that I've ever played, and I like almost threw up because I did not realize there was that many. So needless to say, right? For one, I may have a gambling addiction, but that's besides the point. For two, I have seen quite a few pity systems in my day from playing all these different gacha games or whatever. And I have to say, this is certainly one of the best that I have seen. I am shocked at how, like, it's rude to say generous, right? Because, like, it's hard to say that for a game that is quite literally, like, gambling. But I think in terms of just like comparing it to other gacha games, and obviously because of the nature of the game and the way that it is, right, you can't like expect them to, like, there's certain things that you know that they're not going to do because they have to make money at the end of the day, right? So in some regards, they still have to do something that's like not to the benefit of the player to continue to make money, because obviously, that's how the game will continue. But not only is it 1,000 stones, which is a really, really good amount, I feel, right? Obviously, for maybe like your average player or somebody who's free to play, you're not going to be hitting that every single time. But, right, you have two big caveats, right? For one, obviously, the fact that you can transfer the units into the gray coins is huge, because like you're just sending it like 350 stones that you basically saved from getting to that final one. And I mean, think about that, like that isn't like cheap, right? Especially if you're out of like sales or something like that, right? That is quite a bit that you would be saving from all those extra coins. And not to mention, right, the fact that you can also even like change it into yellow coins at all is amazing, because like I swear I don't think I've really seen something similar to that in my time playing another gacha game. I mean, maybe there is one, because obviously like some other gacha games do have like a loyalty system type of thing, because that's more what the coins are than the like limited coins are like a pity system. But the fact that you can transfer one into the other is awesome, because that's like the limited time thing that is only on that banner that you can then bring into something else. Because they could have just made it like you just don't get yellow coins anymore at all, which would have been really stupid. Or, it could have just been like, maybe you just get both or something like that.
That's what I thought it was at first for some reason, that you were going to get silver and yellow. But this, I feel like the way they've done it makes a lot more sense, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that they definitely constructed it a lot better. And it's cool that they even like implemented it into the coin system at all, right? Because I feel like they could have even just made it like a completely separate thing. But the fact that they were able to kind of put that in there, I think was really interesting, right? And the other big thing that I wanted to mention, right, is that obviously this is if they do bring this into bigger celebrations and bigger banners, right? Because obviously right now, like we're saying, it's only on yellow coin banners right now. If they do bring this into big boy banners, right, like we're talking like the like anniversary and worldwide and stuff like that, you will be, assuming they keep the same price point, right, of like 1,000 stones, you will be guaranteed an anniversary unit, because if you're somebody who looks at the calcs for Dragonstone count for celebrations, right? I know a buddy of mine over on the good old Dokkan Reddit, he actually does stone count posts for global every single celebration where he'll like calculate the amount of stones that global gets per celebration. And during every single like worldwide and anniversary, like basically, I guess there's some exceptions, you get 1,000 stones, assuming you're doing all the content obviously and logging in every day and all that stuff, right? You will get 1,000 stones, right? Pretty easily, in fact. So with that, right, being said, if they do add this into the big boy banners, that would be insane to be able to guarantee a brand new, like, the brand new celebration unit, at least one of them. I think that is super cool and super hopeful for the future. If we want to see that, right, that's definitely something that people need to be putting on the surveys, right? I know right now on Dokkan there is a survey that's available. That would definitely be something to put in like that. Do you have anything else to say before, you submit the survey section, right? That would be perfect to put in that section. I think that's one thing that everybody should be putting in the survey for sure, right? Because I think it would not only benefit the game, but it would also really help Dokkan kind of like catch up a lot in terms of just modern gacha game stuff. Because like we talk about a lot on the podcast that since Dokkan is so old, there's a lot of stuff that they still kind of like need to do to catch up a little bit when it comes to like different gacha game quote unquote mechanics and stuff like that. So I think that that would catch up in quality of life. Exactly. I think that that's like the main thing. So it is very, very cool to see. I hope that they do take the feedback, because it's clear that the nice thing from all of this, honestly, too, is that it proves that the developers are listening, right? Because at the whole thing, right, with the 7th anniversary fan meetup, that was the 7th anniversary one, I think, right? Yeah. They talked about how they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do pity. We don't think it's necessary. The coins are just fine and well enough. And then they come out with this, right, which is clearly going against exactly what they said. So in that regard, right, obviously that's from a bunch of people that are obviously like, going crazy on the what do you call it? Like on the surveys and stuff like that. So, right, with all that being said, it's nice to see that they're actually like listening to their audience, and obviously implementing features that we want. So I think that is really, really cool. And I think that they did a very good job with it. I did kind of want to touch on my tweet that I made, but Minato, I know you're fiending to hop in. So before I go off again, go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
No, well, first thing, someone asked why I laughed at you saying like, oh, they listen. They do listen
sometimes.
But there's I mean, no, they definitely do. Like, there's people who are like, they don't read the comments under the posts, they don't listen to read the surveys, they just do it for fluff. And it's like constantly over the past few years, we've seen so many updates where they said this is because of feedback from the player base. This is what we heard from you guys, and we implemented this. And it happens every time. So it's just really fun. I don't know. It's just funny when people are like, "This shows they've been listening to us." Not like it is true, Theo. But it's funny because people say that every single time that something comes up. It's like, yes, they have been listening to us for years, right?
Yeah.
There's
more in a vacuum, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they can't do every single thing we say. Like,
no.
It's like when we asked for like Goku Black to be buffed, like at that point, I guess it was just set in stone. But people are like, oh, they don't listen to us, right? And for stuff like that, and it's like, well, that's not true. They probably still read what we saw. Like, there's no way that the social media team don't see what we post, and then the actual Dokkan team don't see what we post under the comments. Like, obviously they do.
Yeah,
right?
it's like
social media teams.
Yeah, it's like people will say stuff like, oh, they don't listen to us just because of things like obviously there was no like official response to the whole change the name for Zamasu like campaign that people went pretty hard on. And I think there needs to be, we've said before in the past, I guess, there needs to be that somewhat better middle ground where they like give these responses in kind of like real time, right? Because they could have said something at the time that was like, hey, we've seen your guys' posts, but for whatever reason, even if they didn't give a reason, that wouldn't be as good of a response. But if they just said, we've seen what you guys have been saying, but we're not going to change the name of Zamasu, then at least people know that they are listening. But it's one of those things where it's like they'll change something, but afterwards they then have said, oh, we made this change because we listened to you guys. But they didn't tell us like at the time that they were listening.
Right.
It just comes out afterwards. Which is kind of cool. But then it's when those big things come up, like the Zamasu thing and stuff, it seems like they're not like listening because they're not responding, which is not the same thing, right?
Which is not the same.
It's not the
thing,
same.
Exactly.
I think it's like an actions speak louder than words type of thing.
If they said straight out that they're not going to do it, that would receive a lot of negative feelings and attention.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know which way's better.
Just like we're just gonna avoid that, and it's not gonna happen. Like, because it's not like they probably just don't want to set the expectation like that they're always going to give responses to these sort of things, right? Because then it's like people are going to start getting these expectations. And it's better for them if they don't do it, so they don't feel like
it's not realistic,
anything, right?
Yeah,
and that's that kind of thing. That's why they do these producers letter though. And then I'll have to talk about every single play we have. But even in that scenario, like we complain about EZAs a lot under the posts. And in the recent survey, they quite literally talked about, would you prefer if EZAs round out the character, make them as strong as other characters, brand new characters that come out? Like, that is probably quite literally because from our complaints about Goku Black and from our complaints about other EZAs that have come out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Goku Black, STR Namagoku from last year, like all the like campaigns that have been going on for some of these EZAs, they've been looking at it and they've been like, well, maybe let's see what they think. Should we aim to make these EZAs stronger, or what do people really want from EZAs? Because there's always these complaints. Maybe they just quite literally don't understand, and they're really trying to understand, because what they probably do is they're like, okay, let's put the numbers into the calculator. 500k defense, second guard, good enough. And then it's like, oh no, it's actually, you have a 30% chance to do that, otherwise you just die, right? So that's one thing. Now, I think we should go back to the pity, because we're getting into a different topic.
Yeah.
One thing about the pity, there are some changes that were made as well, and I didn't even know about the second thing. I was going to mention the first thing. I saw Annie in chat brought it up, but they did make the banner back to 10 featured units compared to when it used to be 7.
Yeah.
Now, the reason for that is because obviously the guaranteed featured SSR step, which, every third multi, it's not like you do 3 multis and you get like the 4th one is a guaranteed featured. Every third multi, at the end of the multi, you get a guaranteed featured unit. Yeah. Now, again, you could say, oh, that sucks because I would rather get an unfeatured LR. But at the same time, because you're like, oh, we're going to have all these units rainbowed. That probably does help you, though, because then you just guaranteed get yourself a coin or the new unit, right? You know, like on this banner, Bulma's featured, right? For the Ribrianne. Well, not this Tree Goku banner, the Ribrianne banner, right? Bulma's featured. So it's like, oh, you can get Bulma guaranteed. I've seen people get tons of Bulma from the guaranteed step, right? So it is really insane.
Yeah.
Or if you get like I don't know, 2018 Caulifla or something, it's like, damn, I already have a rainbowed. I just can trade it in for an extra coin, right? Guaranteed. Right. So that's really cool. Also, Global, can you confirm this? Global didn't have global exclusive tickets for this banner,
yes, that is true. So that is something I think people were taken a bit by surprise. I will say, though, obviously from the global side, as somebody who spends money, because, we've already talked about the pity system and how good we think it is overall. There is probably an aspect like anything where, whilst I feel like it's helpful to all players, it does obviously benefit Wales because you're more likely to be able to go to the 1,000 stones, and you're also more likely to have the extra SSRs, so you can then trade in a bunch that you don't need. But like, as someone who would regularly buy, well, I mean, I buy everything, right? And mainly because I'm a content creator. So like, I will always buy the ticket packs. But I mean, I still think, now I agree, like, I think as Annie and I had this conversation earlier, funnily enough, or very briefly, it was on Twitter, but yeah, even though it's kind of like a quote unquote step backwards for the banner itself, like it now has more featured units, and there's no tickets. I do still think it's better this way, just because of how good the pity system is. And I think the reason why they did it is obviously by giving you that guaranteed featured unit every 3 multis, you'd be having a 1 in 7 chance of getting the new unit like every 3 multis, where it's now in a 1 in 10, which is still pretty good. And then of course those other features, those other featured units that you might be pulling instead that they added, for me they were all just more units that I already had, so they were all just extra silver coins. And that guaranteed featured thing is so good, because I guarantee like there will be people out there, and I'm sure we've all seen like tweets already, but there will be people out there that pulled Ribrianne or Goku just on that third multi as like the guaranteed featured, which is not a thing that we had before, right? So
one other thing I want to bring up is that well, there's 2 things, right? Theo earlier was talking about this in terms of like how would it be useful for free to play players, and they have to kind of like make up for like the revenue that they would technically lose from this. They did one thing, it also kind of matches up with them getting rid of the tickets. Even though the tickets are gone and they technically would quote unquote lose revenue from like big whales, they did bring more sale packs. So like the new cell packs they introduced kind of make up for, like, if you're a spending player, they don't like completely like capture like how good the tickets were, but if you consider the new cell packs plus the guaranteed features of SAR plus the pity, then it's way better than just when you were getting the tickets on global. And it means for someone like, you know, me or Ningen, I know we usually just buy the cell stones, and a lot of times that's enough. It's not too often like when it was 7 featured units that we had to really like go like past, like, I don't know, like let's say like around maybe 1,000-ish stones at most is usually when
sometimes
like
depends,
depending on your luck, right? You know, but I feel like on average, like even sometimes for me it took like 700 800 stones to get like just one copy of the character. I'm like averagely, right? Sometimes it takes like 2,000 stones, right?
It's all luck of the draw, baby.
But that's why the pity is important for situations like that. But now them adding the sales means that a lot of these dolphins like players would just buy more of those stones in general, and people who buy every single cell stone will just continue to buy it, even though even if you get if you're like a whale, you're only going for like 3 copies and you get them really lucky really early on, you just have some cell stone packs left, you're gonna buy them anyways for the next banner. That's what people do for New Year's.
Exactly what I did.
Right. So them putting those more cells still mean that they potentially, well, I feel like there's a chance that they still have a like an overall net loss from like these banners, or just in general maybe. It's also possible that they get even a net gain, because
I
how many people would potentially be interested in buying the more of the sales, or people like who are potential spenders see that it's guaranteed, and it's like, you know, if it's like, you know, we got a yellow coin UI Goku one time, and I don't think that's going to be something that happens like very often. But if you get like a really hype yellow coin character, a really good one, a lot of people who are potential buyers probably will opt to actually spend to get that really good character. If we get a character like Boma again, right?
Yeah, like imagine if the pity was in place when she came out. Like so many people would have just gone. Like...
So many people would. So many people who did not buy stones would buy stones.
This is what I was trying to say. So I have a video coming out. I made a tweet this morning, so I have a video coming out a little bit later on. The podcast should be finished by then, unless we go super long. But talking about it in more detail about the pity, I made a tweet earlier to get people to give me some descriptions about pities in other games. And it would take ages to explain, so keep an eye out for that video. But there are a bunch of different categories of players, and only one of those categories of players would this affect in a way that would make them less money overall for the game. And every other category, I feel like it has the potential to make them more money, because the only one they really miss out on is people like me to a certain degree, people who are content creators or collectors who, if it's a unit that they don't really care that much about, they just want one copy, but they will spend however much it takes to get one copy. Now, those people, they could probably lose money, right? Because like for me, I got Goku in 650 stones because I traded in for coins. But if I didn't get him in 650 stones, I would have kept summoning, right? Because I wanted that one copy for videos. But if it's so in that instance, they could lose money, right? Because if I had to, would have gone like, 1,500 maybe into the banner. But for other people, if you think about big whales like Truth and like some of the crazy JP collectors that you see screenshots of their accounts where they have like every single LR rainbowed 3 times over, those people want to get the unit rainbow straight away. So all the pity does is help them get the first copy.
Exactly.
And then we've all seen those videos from Truth where he's going like 2,000 stones between like copy number 3 and copy number 4. Right. So for those people, the pity doesn't, I mean, it helps them get the first copy quicker, but they could still end up going like 10k stones to rainbow a unit, right? And then the way it can help bring in a little bit of extra money to supplement those people, like the first example that they might lose a little bit on because they only wanted 1 copy, is think about how many people out there would say have put aside 500 stones. They drop 500 stones on the banner. And then, like me, they got a bunch of SSRs that they could trade in. And then they look at their silver coins and they're like, oh, if I just spend another 100 stones, I get the unit guaranteed. So I might as well just buy 100 stones. And then those people will spend money on the game. So I think it's a great system overall.
And I would say, even if they add, like, the guarantee feature SSR, there's no way that they're putting that on other banners.
No,
I think
it's fine if they don't, honestly.
I think how the pay system is crafted, just 1 copy for 200 coins, put that on Dokkan SLR banners. The thing about Dokkan SLRs is that they're usually like top 5 units in the game most of the time. And they're like these big premium characters that people will want dupes for, right? It's like at this point, 55% is cool, but I think that people really want those 2 dupes, like just in general, like the gambling.
Same.
We do gamble, right?
Exactly, right? Like if I pulled, like if I had more stones, because I'm trying to,
I had the pity.
I'm trying not to wail out too much, but if I had spare stones and this was a unit that I really wanted, I would have kept summoning for the dupes, right? It's like, yes, I got my first copy nice and easy. Now bring on like 69 or 79%.
Let's say 9th anniversary UI Goku. I get from the pity, but he's the best unit in the game. I'm gonna want to keep summoning for 9th anniversary UI Goku because he's the best unit in the game.
Exactly.
Right? And a lot of people are gonna feel the same way. People who saved 1,000 stones, unless you really only care about getting 1 copy. But I feel like most people at this point, if you get a character like best unit in the game and like 500 stones, and then you have like another 1,000 stones, you'll probably still spend those stones for that character to get dupes in them if you really like them, right? So
also the thing that's very cool, because I don't know if other games do the pities in a different way. I know Grand Cross does it in a similar way to Dokkan in the sense of what I'm about to say, but that copy of the Goku, if we use him or Ribrianne, whoever, right? That copy of the Goku is there in the shop and it doesn't just go away if you pulled him from your summons. So there probably will also be people out there, like if it's a unit that you actually want, if it took you, let's say you didn't get tons of spare SSRs, so you still had to spend like 900 stones. You're now in a position where it's like, well, if I just spend 100 more, I get a dupe guaranteed because then I can buy the one from the shop. So
because you get so much value you get from dupes, like
exactly.
Slot, there is just quite a lot, and it's like there's a difference between 55% and 100%. So like if we and Annie said this in the chat. Oh, right now I was gonna bring it up actually a little bit, but we look at Genshin and Honkai. It's like if you get the 5-star character when you're summoning, there's not like an exchange shop. What happens is it just resets from the beginning, right? If you get the 5-star character and you go back to potentially getting the 50-50, or if you're on your guaranteed already, you just go back to the 50-50 in general. Well, in Dokkan, you get the new character, but then that coin shop, it doesn't reset. You don't start from the beginning. So even if you're like, let's say you're like 10 multis into the banner, you get the Goku, even if it's not in the guaranteed featured, you can still keep going. You can still get more dupes of the Goku, right? From the guaranteed step, which is really, really good. And speaking of that, Genshin, one thing about Genshin is that it carries over from the banner to banner, so you could save, but that's where I'm kind of leading into Dokkan Asset's tweet where
yes, that was a good segue. I'm not gonna lie, that was a gas segue.
So I mean, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I thought you were gonna talk about it. I was gonna leave it to you, but thanks, bro. I appreciate the
You're
pass,
the one who
bro.
caught it. So
That
it's
is true.
like a maybe.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate going along with the analogy. Okay, so if some of you are unfamiliar, your boy made a tweet last night. Everything's blending together the last couple of days. I apologize, but I made a tweet talking about something that me and some of the homies were discussing about the way that the new pity system works, right, in Dokkan, right? So, obviously, we are well aware that the gray coins that you have on your account, right, like the ones that you have registered into your like if you go into the Baba shop right now and you see the number at the top, right? Those will automatically get turned into yellow coins after the banner goes away, right? They will transfer into that. Now, with that being said, they did say in the global news that characters who are exchangeable for gray coins, right, will not automatically be exchanged into yellow coins, or their coins will not be, automatically like turned into yellow ones. Like the next time that a yellow coin banner comes out, when you go to exchange them, it's not like they're now going to be in the yellow coin area, right? So the idea behind this whole thing is that potentially, because I suppose to technically confirm this, right, we need to have another pity system banner come, and go. But theoretically, what you could do is you could save all of those dupes of the characters that you're getting, right? The ones that you can exchange for the gray coins, the limited coins, and then not exchange them, right, into the Baba shop. Hold on to them. And then when a unit comes by that you really, really want, then you can exchange all of those dupes that you've been holding on to and then contribute to your pity without even having to summon, right? You could potentially, if you're saving up units like a madman, right, you could just be able to not even touch the banner and then just transfer all of those units, and then bam, there's all your limited coins to get the brand new unit. Now, with that being said, the only stipulation that would be is if the coins would have like a different ID in the game's data, right? Like, for example, something of this is that, like, for every time they bring out a new EZA ticket banner, right? They add in the tickets again and they have a new ID, because even though it's the same like PNG of the, EZA like ticket or whatever, it's technically a different one every single time. So they could certainly do that with the coins. However, in my mind, like in understanding how the game works, I feel like that it doesn't make as much sense to me. And not to mention, like, I feel like it really wouldn't make sense only from the perspective of like, because they have said that you can exchange these for yellow coins, it wouldn't really make sense that if you have the unit, right, that you can exchange for a limited coin, and then you hold on to it after the banner, it wouldn't really make sense for then the next time it to be a different limited coin, because then you couldn't exchange it for the yellow coin at that rate, unless they then brought back the old yellow coin shop. And Proton did just mention in the chat the coin will be the same. So,
yeah, so the thing that we were talking about before we started the episode, which I wanted to say, is you kind of touched on it there, but it's the game is very smart. I don't know how it works in terms of all the coding that they use, but obviously the game is very smart when it comes to knowing which banners you pulled the units from. Like, obviously it can differentiate between the ones pulled from tickets and all that kind of stuff. So the way I assume it will work, because they've probably thought about this in advance, you would assume.
I would think so.
And they probably don't want, right, people saving a bunch of SSRs to trade in for the next banner, because obviously in theory you could do that, and then when the next yellow coin banner comes out, like, boom, you've just got 200 silver coins already and you get the new unit for free. Well, obviously not, because you summoned for those units previously, but the way I imagine it will work is when the new banners come out, like say the next silver coin banner comes out, when you go into the exchange, the silver coin section will just be empty, and those units that you got from the previous one will now appear under the yellow coin thing, and you'll just be able to exchange them into yellow coins because they'll have that tag or that ID on them somewhere that they came from, like the Goku banner, for example. And once the silver coins go away, the game database, whatever, updates itself so that it recognizes that Goku banner is a yellow coin banner. So any units that came from it after that silver coin has then like disappeared, essentially, will then get exchanged for yellow coins. Because I know a couple of people have tried it out. I mean, I've kept a couple mainly for making, like, you know, future SA5 copies of LRs and stuff. So I do have a couple of copies of characters in my box that I can trade in for the silver coins. So I know a lot of people I saw tweeting, and some people even said in the chat, like, have done the same, right? So a couple people out there, we're keeping hold of a couple of these cards, so we'll get to see firsthand what actually happens. But I don't expect you to be able to trade them in for silver coins when the next silver coin banner comes out. But what do you think, Minato?
I was actually gonna say, I was like, you guys are talking about this, right? And I'm reading into the post that Dokkan Assets made, and actually reading into it closely, I think that won't be possible. What it's saying is, the legendary summon coins limited obtained by exchanging characters for them will not be automatically converted into legendary summon coins, and players will have to manually exchange them for legendary summon coins. But it's saying specifically players will have to exchange them
for legendary coins, which are the yellow ones.
Yellow coin, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mention that you'll be able to exchange it. So what I'm thinking is, what's going to happen is, in the same, like, I don't know if they're going to have, like, I don't know, like a data download or maintenance for it to, like, exchange it. But when they exchange the limited coins that you have for yellow coins, I'm assuming they're potentially going to just change the ID of those characters to be exchangeable for yellow coins as well. Because it's saying that you'll have to exchange the characters for yellow coins.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's probably going to change it. So yeah, you exchange them for yellow coins, if I'm reading that correctly, right?
Yeah. I feel like the way, Proton's saying they don't need a data download. Because I feel like from my limited understanding of coding, it is more like I said, the units are tied to the banners themselves. I did misread it. Never mind. So
ignore me. It's talking about the coins specifically.
The units are tied to the banners themselves, right? In terms of, like, as the way I think that works, right? The game knows which banner you pulled them from. So technically, in theory, all they need to do is update it so that the game knows that, let's say, again, as the example, the Goku Legendary Summon banner, the database just changes to that's a yellow coin banner. So then once you then try and trade in units that you pulled from that banner, they're now trading in for yellow coins instead. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. But you would assume that is something that they planned in advance. Because imagine if they didn't, and all of a sudden the next banner comes out and someone out there is just like, well, I just got my 200 silver coins for free from the last banner. So...
It's really interesting. Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna really be like legendary summon coin limited too, right?
Yeah,
or something
I
like
don't
that.
know.
You can do it for every banner, because it's something we won't know until the next legendary summon coin banner will be out. But the next one that's gonna be out is not until April of next year. So that's a very long time, because if we go by the at least. Well, on JP.
I guess it depends, right? Because the one thing we kind of talked about it a bit last week is we don't know 100%, but we're kind of assuming that it is, right? That the New Year's is going to be same time again. But we did kind of talk about this last time, that maybe they won't be LRs. Maybe they were just LRs because it was the movie thing, right? And then if they weren't LRs, maybe that has a part 2 yellow coin LR potentially.
It won't.
But
there's no way, because anniversary is right next.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Well, it'll be
true.
Because it usually, the banner right before that is an LR banner, because it's weird, because obviously, like, it's the Christmas unit usually on JP, right, where it's like a double rate banner. And then obviously they have the New Year's units. Though I think that double rate banner will be a carnival. Yeah, because it's obviously a Rising Dragon carnival, so it'll be a carnival unit. Yeah.
So it's gonna be, what's gonna happen is next Dokkan Fest into Heroes, into December Dokkan Fest into Carnival LR, and then we go into New Year's, then we go into Anniversary, then Dokkan Fest, Saiyan Day, Dokkan Fest, and then Yellow Coin Limited LR banner. Now, we could say maybe 9th anniversary, they're like, here is the pity system. and then we get that earlier.
Yeah.
You know, they could always decide
That'd
to
be
add it to another banner if they really want to. I don't think they will anytime soon, but who knows? Maybe they will. Like they're like New Year's special occasion. Let's add this pity system to this dual
That would be
Fest
cool.
format. And then it's like,
Yeah,
again,
because that's something that we kind of,
be down for that.
yeah, that's something that we didn't really touch on as well. Like there's, you know, we obviously assume from the way they've advertised it, right? Like this is the way legendary summon banners are now going to be forever going forwards. But that would actually be kind of cool if they just put it on a Dokkan Fest or a Carnival banner, but like we're specifically advertising it as, you know, oh, it's just for this one because it's part of this celebration. But that'd be crazy. Like imagine they drop like some super hype like Carnival LR banner for some kind of celebration. Like imagine if Saiyan Day is instead of a Dokkan Fest, it's a Carnival LR. And then they're like, oh, just for Saiyan Day, you know, this is going to have the silver
the
coin.
meme.
This is going to have the silver coin system. Like that would be
I would assume
insane.
it would be like
That would
like
be insane.
maybe just anniversary worldwide even. Like I you know, like those are the big celebrations. And maybe that's like the celebration they potentially want to do.
God, that
and
would be
release
so
them all for.
crazy. Imagine.
But it's like, you know, every other banner they don't do it, and it's just for like some of these big celebrations and the yellow coin LRs. And then it's like limited enough where it's like, you know, the rest of the year doesn't get that. But I don't know. I think that with how they constructed it, it's only one copy. And if there's no guaranteed feature, it's at the same time, you only get the one copy guaranteed. And then again, people are gonna be usually wanting to go for dupes if it's like God Goku kind of character, or if it's like, you know, Ultra Instinct Goku or New Beast Gohan, right? No, those are characters that people are gonna want to go for dupes anyway.
Exactly. A lot of people go into. Gone. Sorry.
Again, I'm sorry. Again, it'll probably just make people want to spend more to get to that guaranteed.
Exactly.
Because no matter what, you get the guaranteed character rolls. Even if you're free to play, you get the character at 300 stones. You're like, I could guarantee another copy by going this far. So why wouldn't I? Right?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people go into those big celebrations, you know, not always free to play, even though you do get a lot of stones, but even lower spenders, right? You go into those big celebrations with somewhat of a budget. And so it's like, I'm going to spend, like, let's say it was worldwide, and that's the character you really want, and you don't care because you're a low spender, you know, you're not expecting to get all 4 new characters, but you're like, I am going to spend 1,000 stones to get Vegito Blue. And then, like you said, if you pull him in like 300 stones, it's like, oh, sweet. Like, I'll keep going because when I get to 1,000, I'm going to get another copy guaranteed. Whereas obviously with the system we have now, you could drop 1,000 stones on any banner and get nothing. So
it's like, if you have it now, you get the copy, and then it's like, I'm done summoning. But then otherwise, you would keep going.
One thing that would be very interesting, though, is how they would do that if it was going to... Because imagine if it was for like a dual Dokkan Fest, like for the anniversary... You could do 1,000 stones. Let's use the worldwide as the example. You could do 1,000 stones on Vegito's banner and then buy Zamasu. Like, would they do that? Like, that's really so maybe they wouldn't. That's an interesting thing.
Maybe they would in that situation, like introduce like 2 different.
It's Silver Coin 1 and Silver Coin 2. Yeah,
Silver Coin 1 and
do that.
They could, they could.
Silver Coin B.
Yeah.
A and B.
Yeah,
like,
true.
They could, yeah.
I mean, that would be fine, right? I'd rather they do that than not do it because it's the Dokkan Fest, right?
In that situation, technically, like, you know, if you're summoning these yellow coin banners, you can't save those characters for the limited coins in the anniversary because there'd be different kinds of coins, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, dual Dokkan Fest units, you could do it. But again, for those dual Dokkan Festival major celebrations, you usually want to get the characters anyway, so you're going to be spending these characters and these coins. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, overall, pity system seems like a big W. We'll have to see how it gets implemented further in the future. If it does, would be very cool. I think one thing we didn't touch on, but rather than, I don't want to keep the conversation on this topic for much longer, but one thing that I think would be cool as well is even if they were to introduce it to, Dokkan Fest banners or Carnival banners, even if the number of coins that unit cost increased slightly, I still think that would be good, right, compared to them not doing anything at all, right? Like imagine they did it for a Dokkan Fest, but then it's like 250 coins instead, right? I mean, that's still way better than what we have now, right? So that would be very, very cool to see if that is something that they do in the future. So in speaking of the future, we're going to talk about a couple of things coming out on Global very, very soon. Interesting that they have kind of brought this up from the schedule on JP because it was in the Trunks celebration. but we are going to be getting the new Peppy Gals units and EZAs on Monday on Global, which is the banner with the STR-18 and the AGL Mamba, and then we'll be getting the EZAs for Oceanus and Launch. So speaking from obviously the JP side where those units are already out, Theo, I don't know if you want to pick one to start us off with, 18 or the Mamba. Have you had a chance to use either of those guys? What are they like? What do you think?
You know what's funny? I've only pulled 18 recently because I didn't summon on their banner, and then when they got added into the general pool, I only pulled them on like 1 or 2 of the last banners, so I haven't really got a chance to try her out, to be honest. I haven't pulled Mamba at all, unfortunately. But I think it is a cool little in-between banner. It's nice that they obviously bring out, you know, the like Peppy Gals units occasionally. It's always cool to see them give a little bit of a, you know, something to, you know, their like category. It is kind of unfortunate that the banner doesn't have LR Bulma on it though, because that would definitely give it a little bit more value, because it's you know, obviously with it being such a much smaller featured pool of, you know, it just being the Peppy Gals units, that would have definitely given it a lot more of a buff, and I think a lot of people would probably summon on it.
Yeah.
If the Bulma, you know, was there, but unfortunately she's not even in the unfeatured pool. So
yeah, I think it's one of
kind of.
I think it's one of those things I actually like, you know, I've mentioned many times to people in my chat on streams, and we've talked about it here a little bit as well. Like, I pretty much summon on every banner, right, to try and get at least one copy of every unit so I can make videos and stuff. I genuinely might not summon on that banner because, like, it's coming out on Monday. I just dropped a bunch of stones for Goku. Trunks probably comes out on like the 4th or the 5th, which, as much as I don't really care that much about him as a new Dokkan Fest, he's a unit I need to get a copy of more so than these these new Peppy Gals characters. And then of course we have the big boys in mid-November with Heroes. So this banner is interesting that it's coming out at this time. Minato, I don't know if you want to have any extra notes on these 2 new units, but do you think that maybe this banner is pushed up a little bit in the schedule because of potential, you know, starting to speed up that global schedule? What do you think?
I mean, you could say so, but this banner was always kind of a filler banner. Even on JP, there's no sales for it. So, you know, the moment I saw it, I was like, well, this banner they could really put anywhere, especially because, you know, that this banner we're going to talk about in a second, the summertime festival for Dokkan, right, the little bait banner, that came out like back to back with the Peppy Gals banner. I just feel like they kind of put it out there because they always put a Peppy Gal banner out that week, and since they're doing the sync, they're like, okay, well, this banner is just kind of like, you know, just a little squeezing banner. We're just gonna make it. Well, on GP, it was like a lot wider of a gap. It's gonna be a lot lower of a gap in global to kind of help catch up just a little bit, right? You know, over time. So I do agree there. In terms of the units, 18 seems solid. Mamba is good against Vegeta Blue. You know.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But other than that, definitely easy skip. Like just save.
Yeah,
honestly,
easy skip for sure.
Save for Heroes, honestly, if you want.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, if we're talking about saving, I think you should save for New Year's, or I personally, I'm a believer 9th anniversary will be synced.
Yeah, same.
I'm a big believer.
But yeah, the funny thing is, I just had a quick double check because I did look at the schedule for a video I made a little while ago talking about things that will be coming up between now and the end of the year. And like last year, this is where the Peppy Gals banner came out. It was actually the 17th of October, so we're a couple of days later. But this is where the Peppy Gals banner came out last year because things were a little bit more spread out in the October thing, because it was Pan came out on the 4th. I think Turles came out on like the 5th, and obviously Goku has just come out today. And yeah, Peppy Gals came out on the 17th because there was no part 2 LR for Pan. So when I was looking at the schedule, I was like, okay, well, this Peppy Gals banner, this is where they're going to drop Goku instead. And then on JP, the Peppy Gals banner came out with Trunks, and that's in November. But instead, they've kind of squeezed that in here. Now, I guess that makes sense because November is so packed already, because it is going to be Trunks, Heroes, and then Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku at the end of the month. So it probably does make more sense to fit them in here rather than there. But I imagine this will be a banner that a lot of people do not summon on, which I wouldn't be, you know.
Please
probably.
don't.
It's probably. I wonder. Does it have the first 3 multis are 30 stones on JP? Because I imagine it'll probably have that. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe
I think
I'll probably do those,
Guaranteed
right? But
feature too, I think.
that'll be it.
I don't remember off the top of my
So
head, but
we'll see.
who cares? I skipped it.
Yeah.
I skipped it. I was
Yeah.
like, worldwide
I
is
did
like
not summon it.
very soon for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just
And then we have the EZAs for Oceanus and launch. If I
Which
remember
is
rightly,
mid.
the Oceanus one is pretty mid, right? I don't know about launch.
Which is okay, but you know,
Not
both
mid,
candidates
no.
I mean, I don't know. Oceanus definitely not what G2 bosses needed, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. Another cursed Shadow
Yeah.
Dragon saga unit. So
Yeah, they're just kind of whatever units, really.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so
that's just
Yeah.
the other thing that we
Kinda
have
stinks, but-
in the news that we know is coming is, of course,
Oh, yes.
the Halloween banner for Global. And I've already seen a few interesting posts about this because obviously in the
Is that-
news they showed the artwork for the banner, and it shows the 5-year anniversary LRs, right? So it has the STR Gogeta and the Tech Vegito. Most people had assumed, based on last year, where that banner prominently featured in the artwork, Majin Vegeta featured. Obviously, a lot of people were assuming that this would be the banner where God Goku comes back. Now, obviously, we still don't know that he's not going to be on that banner. He's just not on that artwork that they showed in the news, right? Now, JP, wasn't there a banner on JP that was very similar
I'm
that
looking
people
at
think
it
that it will
right
be?
now.
Yeah, when
What
did
was the
that come
exact
out? Because I'm
banner?
trying to bring up
It
the thing on
came
here.
out
That's the
on
banner I just talked about.
13/20/23.
Right before Worldwide. The Worldwide
Yes.
debate banner is what we called it. It was
Yep.
the 5th anniversary, Tech Gogeta, and
Mhm.
a lot of just random Dokkan Fest that kind of sucked.
So when was
I
Yeah,
would
it was.
assume-
Yeah,
When did it come out? Was
They
it during
just-
the countdown or?
it was on
It was right before the
8/13/2023.
hmm I don't think they'll change the banner, honestly. They could, right? Very easily they could change the banner to be a global W, but it's possible that it's just a carry over banner, and they're just putting it like they're like, okay, we can't put an extra banner on global, and they probably want to put this banner on global, just because they want to put the same banners in both versions and not like skip any banners. They usually don't. They don't
Yeah.
like skipping a banner. Like maybe global sometimes gets a new banner, but then it's like in this situation where they're trying to sync everything up. They're not gonna put
Yeah.
like this banner out and then a Halloween banner, and then that just makes the space
Right.
wider. They probably
Mhm.
decided let's combine these two. Not saying that God Goku can't be put in there, but it would really suck if he's not there, because if you look at it, then God Goku's not gonna return until March.
Hmm.
If everything is
Oh
it's how
man.
if it's how I
That's
think
tough.
it's gonna work, what's gonna happen is November Super Trunks into Heroes, then
Mhm.
December Super Saiyan 4 Omega, New Year's, then if an anniversary same time, and then we
I'm
go
sorry,
to
it was-
March when the androids release, and then that's when Kale and God Goku return, and then Saiyan Day again, where God Goku is probably also gonna be on Saiyan Day.
Yeah, he will.
So in that sense, it's kind of weird. It's like if we have the like it will be weird because it's gonna be like the androids into Saiyan Day, and it's just God Goku back to back. But that's probably what's gonna happen because
Nope.
the Saiyan Day unit always returns. God Goku is on the androids banner, unless they again put God Goku on this banner, and then they switch out God Goku in the androids banner for another character,
yeah.
and they retroactively make that banner worse. But it is probably likely, and it's just because Global's trying to sync up, things are just gonna be weird. That this banner screws
See-
over Global, and then you have to wait. Until
Yeah.
March.
Yeah, so the reason I was saying no is I'm only disagreeing with your use of the term probably, because I think God Goku will be on this banner. This is the banner
He's
where
a
the same.
believer.
This is the banner
I would
where
say
this is no. This is the banner where I mean, obviously, he might not be. Don't think he's going to be
Right.
because I say so. If you're watching this or listening to this, but this is the banner that he returned
If
on
he's
last
not on
year.
the banner,
And the
everybody
thing is-
jumping at it.
Well, the thing is as well, a lot of people thought, because I think the Saiyan Day unit didn't return this early on JP last year, did they? Because I saw a lot of people saw God Goku on the Androids banner and then took that as, oh, okay, well, this is because Global is just about to get God Goku come back. So they're bringing him back at around the same time for JP. So that's really cool because it came out on both versions at the same time. So him being
That's
on
how
the
it was
Androids
last year,
banner...
too.
him being on the Androids banner made me think more confident that he's going to be on this upcoming banner for global.
Interesting.
Because remember, like, again, we've only seen the 2 year 5 fusions, and who knows whether how they balance these metrics. But I mean, the year 5 fusions with their EZAs are still incredibly good. Like, obviously they're not super great against AoEs, but those units are still fantastic, and certain Dokkan Fest LRs, especially anniversary units, aren't on a lot of banners all the time. So I feel like there's probably people at Dokkan that when they came to making that banner art for the news, and then somebody said, well, who's more hyped to put on there, the year 5 fusions or God Goku? I wouldn't be surprised if somebody there was like, we'll put the year 5 fusions on there, because people will get super excited about that. Even though you would think that seeing confirmed God Goku is returning for the first time would probably be more hype for a lot of people. But yeah, it'd just be super weird, because I know obviously with the sync things are in a bit of potential turmoil, but the idea that they don't bring him back until like February or something would be so weird. Like, especially when like the previous Saiyan Day unit is always on the Saiyan Day banner, right? So he will be on the Saiyan Day banner in March. So for him to come back to global for the first time in like January or February just seems so bizarre, especially because
Goku moment.
yeah, especially because last year, like, that was the first time, wasn't it, that they re-released the Saiyan Day unit on. Well, actually, last year wasn't the first time we got that Halloween banner, but usually that Halloween banner is just like a weird collection of Dokkan Fests, and none of them are new. And when Vegeta was on it, people were quite surprised. It seems really weird for them to have done that last year and then not do it this year, especially when, as we've already said, like, JP just got Goku Return on their banner that they have currently. So I think he will be on there, but obviously we don't actually know. He might not be. But I'd like to think that he will be, right? Because at least I hope so.
I'm just going to say, because it seems like it's the same banner. Again, it seems like it's the same. Maybe it's just a completely different lineup of units. Maybe it's just a normal Halloween banner, right? But if we're gonna assume is what JP got, then it wouldn't have God Goku. But we can't say for sure. We won't know until the banner comes out, and it's still a week away. So we'll see.
Yeah, because that banner has what? It has it's 10. Yeah, 10 featured units. I mean, you could easily, like, the banner would become incredibly better in value if you just kick off like the ROF blues and put God Goku on there instead. Or even one of the older SSRs, and that would be a even bigger bonus, right? Like, kick off like Int Gogeta, or like the tech androids, and put him on there. That would be super good. But obviously, I guess we will have to wait and see. There are tickets for it for global, which is cool. But yeah, we don't know.
That one thing is, this is weird, because the banner on GP, wasn't it just like you do it like one time, right?
Yeah, it was 100 stones one time only. Yeah, so that seems really weird.
This one, it just says 3 of the characters can be Dokkan Awakens, so it's already going to be a different format. There's already going to be tickets.
Yeah, because it seems like it's a normal banner rather than a one-off thing. It could just
be a different banner, right? Yep. Because I know in JP you couldn't exchange coins for these characters, if I'm not mistaken. Because it was a one-time off banner, right? Well, it's on global.
Oh, there were LRs on this too in the unfeatured pool as well.
Yeah,
on this banner.
On global, I would assume this banner could also just be different, because it's like you could summon it. I would assume you could summon it multiple times, because what the banner thing is saying is like 3 of the featured characters can be Dokkan Awakened into an LR. Well, it's on JP. I believe what it's saying is that you could summon it once, and then you get like a guaranteed Dokkan Pass at the end or whatever. I think that's how it works. So
yeah,
there's a difference there. And if that's true, then that means on global you could exchange coins for those characters. It could be for right?
That would be interesting. Yeah,
I would assume that 19th unit was a guaranteed banner unit, 20th was a guaranteed DP. That's how it worked, right? And you couldn't exchange for coins. So I mean, you could use that as an argument, right? The banner format is already different. They'll probably make you exchangeable for coins, just so you could exchange God Goku for it. And it wouldn't make sense to wait a whole year to get God Goku again. So, now that I'm thinking about it more, Negan, I am kind of on your side. I think that it's more likely that they do return.
He flipped. That's crazy.
Yes. Look at that. We love to see it. So yeah, I think it would be super weird, right, to have him not come back this early, like same slot as last time. He's back on JP. They want to sync everything up in anyway, right? So it kind of makes sense for him to be coming back at around the same time. But I guess we'll wait and see. Obviously, tune in next week, because by next week's episode, the banner will be out. It comes out next Thursday. So the banner will be in game and we'll be able to talk about it. So hopefully it will be a good banner. I mean, usually, even with Majin Vegeta coming back on it last year, it's probably an easy skip, right? Like, if you have the coins, and God Goku is on there, pick him up with coins. If you do spend a little bit, the tickets are usually good value. It just depends what they do, right? Because I think the Majin Vegeta love version last year, it had like one discounted multi for 30 stones. And I can't remember, I think it might have been guaranteed featured. Because I literally did that 130 stone multi and pulled Majin Vegeta. So I personally was very happy, because he was one of the units that shafted me. It took me 2,000 stones to get one copy.
Jeez.
So I just stopped and had him at 55% for 8 months or whatever it was. So I was quite happy to get that extra copy for 30 stones. And then I just grabbed another one with coins to get him to 79%. So hopefully God Goku will be on there. But as we see, it's 40 stones. Well, there you go. But as we know, as I said, we'll know definitely what it's going to be next week once the banner is actually in game. And we can hopefully have good discussion about it. Hopefully it won't be a disappointing one, but we'll see.
I mean, I will say, if they do keep it the same as JP, I think it will unfortunately be a little bit disappointing. I mean, like, there are some good characters on the banner, right? It's like Fizz Kid Goku, the ROF Blues, Ginyu, Super Saiyan 2 to 3 Goku, Kid Buu, the androids, and then the 3 LRs are Gogeta, and Vegito.
It's
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but
it's the perfect banner to come out if you're somebody that just has a bunch of red coins and you're missing some of those units, right? Because then you don't need to summon. You can just pick up 1 or 2 of those guys if you're missing them. Because I know a lot of people who are newer. I've had people even in like the chat in some of the recent streams saying that like they don't have or only have 1 copy of the year 5 like LRs, right? So obviously getting another chance to get copies of those is quite good as well. So
that's true.
But yeah, we'll know next week, so we'll talk about that in more detail. So we are going to head into the final segment of the show here. Yeah, I know this is a lot of people's favorite one, and I decided to go with a particularly spicy one. It was the last one I posted to you guys, so Theo, you know which one it is.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I went with the very spicy one. The other one was a bit general.
Because I didn't know.
And this one was very spicy. Now, unfortunately, you guys know, of course, I'm talking about trash takes, right? We're going to go into that. I'll give my little disclaimer about how, you know, we find these takes, we ask people to give them to us. We ask for those hot, spicy takes. But it's just to have fun and discuss. So obviously no sending any, you know, harassment or bullying or anything towards those people, even if it's the worst take you've ever seen. Otherwise, this, you know, it takes the fun out of this whole thing, right? Like, discussing funny takes is what we like to do. So before I reveal this absolute train wreck of a take, just to give away my perspective on where we're going with this, just to give you guys a quick reminder again, if you do want to give any support to the podcast, you have any questions or you want any shout outs or anything like that, any super chats or donations will be read out at the end. Shout out to those of you. I tried to thank you guys in the chat as they were coming in, so we have acknowledged the ones that have come in so far, and we will be reading those out at the end. So without further ado, here is the trash take for this week. Now, I should preface this by saying that unfortunately, as we always do on the show, I tried to contact the person that submitted this take to get some extra details to try and kind of argue their corner and explain the reasoning behind the take. But at the time of setting up the podcast, they had not actually replied. I am just going to very quickly double check the Twitter here as I bring up the take on screen for you guys to start wrapping your brains around, but here we go.
We have quite a bit.
This is the trash take for today. So this comes to us from, is it Hikes, I guess? Now, I guess it should be a red flag straight away that his name also says #1 in ROF Blues fan, which I didn't notice straight away. But his take for us for this week is that physical LR Sword of Hope Trunks is better than physical God Goku, by a mile. It all in capitals, and it is one of those good old classic greater than symbol tweets.
No.
So I'm gonna go ahead and double check here and see if he did actually reply.
Greater than
But
symbol.
I'll
Greatest
who
emoji.
wants to start with this one while I take a
will
look
start.
at the replies.
Oh, can I mean, Nacho,
Yeah.
before you go off, I'm just gonna say, bro, that's big. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, look, I'm
No
just gonna
reply
say
yet.
I'm the biggest greater than symbol hater. This is a bad take, right? By a mile is quite the statement for being so wrong, right? It definitely is bait for sure. I would say it's probably closer than people would say it is. Honestly, I think people would. I think people would actually say Gotagoku is better than Trunks by a mile, and that also
Yeah.
I would say is wrong. I think that I think
Okay.
Trunks is actually better than a lot of the community give him credit for.
I do agree with that. Yeah.
Because he's RNG based,
Yeah.
right? With the damage reduction. But if you're also looking at it, you could be saying specifically the standby version of Trunks is better than the God.
Yeah, it's true. That's why the
In that
clarification
case-
would have been helpful. But yeah.
Yeah. In that case, I would 100% agree. The standby version of Trunks is he's actually top 3 worthy. Standby Trunks, he's good.
Yeah.
He cooks woohoo. That's a big reason why you could argue even this Trunks, could you argue Trunks is better than Gotagoku? I think there is some arguments you can make. It's not like Trunks sucks. Both of them are good units. I would say I prefer Gotagoku as a unit myself, but this take is wrong specifically because it says by a mile, and that's not true. And in the tweet itself, it does say physical Trunks specifically, and not saying the standby version either. So I'm gonna assume they mean the entire units. In which case, physical Sword of Hope Trunks. If I was gonna pick to put him or Gotagoku on my team, I would put Gotagoku on my team. Right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Gotagoku, I just think is a better unit, even though you could get screwed over with Gotagoku's orbs. I feel like you can get screwed over with Trunks is additionals and not getting those much more easier than Gotagoku, because at least with Gotagoku, if you get the orbs, you still guarantee the 60% dodge. Well, as Trunks, you can't really control Gotagoku, you can control the orb field. You could bring rainbow orb changers. This Trunks, you can't control his RNG additional super attacks. So that's the thing there. And then Gotagoku, I'm a defensive player, right? So I love Gotagoku guarding, stacking, dodging. I like that a lot better than Trunks' offensive nature. So yeah, I would say I'll take just in general, but I do think that it's closer between these two in terms of power than people would probably argue, because a lot of people really hate this Trunks. That's why I kind of still want to defend Trunks a little, because Trunks is not bad.
Yeah. Theo, before I jump in, what's your... I posted this in the chat earlier. I was like, boys, I think I've picked a take for today. And Theo literally replied with that truth clip of him going, no.
Yeah.
So...
I completely disagree. I don't know what this man is smoking. Man needs to lay off it a little bit, I think. I don't know. I feel like this, to me, right? I don't know this person, unfortunately, don't have a little bit more of the context, right? But I feel like this is one of those tweets that somebody in the Dokkan community will make just to kind of basically interaction bait, right?
Yeah.
To just kind of stir up a little bit of controversy to get people to reply and then interact with the tweet, and then
It's
obviously
like that,
they get more numbers.
That meme cartoon, right, where somebody says something and then leaves the room, and the room just turns into a bunch of people fighting each other, right? Yeah,
Right, literally exactly, right? It's literally just there to just stir it up. Yeah, literally bro, this is an industry plant tweet right here if I've ever seen one.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, right, the segment is called Trash Take, so this guy understood the assignment, is what I'm saying.
It's true. It's true.
He said, this boy was like, you said trash take, not Good take.
I mean, that's the point, right? In all the tweets, like when we make those tweets every week, right? We say like, you know, give us your hot and spicy takes. And sometimes, I mean, you guys know, right? If you've tuned into all of these episodes so far, or even if you've seen a couple of them, we often get situations where we more or less agree, or maybe have like one or two sort of like nitpicks, because even though trash takes makes like a good name, some of the takes, whilst they might be a bit spicy or a bit controversial, are not always bad takes. But this, I think, lives up to the definition of being a trash take.
This one's awful.
Because again, like just to say, like to, you know, sort of reinforce what Minato said, I do think that Trunks is a lot better than some people give him credit for. And obviously, if there was some sort of clarification that they meant specifically the standby for Trunks, I feel like you definitely have some arguments there. Obviously, the standby. One thing I don't see people talk about that much is the standby for Trunks. I mean, I never really get to use them long enough after that, because by the time you get into the standby, you use the Sword of Hope, and then you're kind of, you know, back to square one. Like, he only has that guard on the turn he transforms. So it's like the turn you go into the mode, he's a god, especially defensively. And then on the next turn, you just fire off the Sword of Hope. And then at that point, you've probably won, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's in that form for very long. But yeah, that form, he's obviously very, very powerful. And even
I would say, sorry, I'm going to cut in one thing before you continue. Just really quickly, Global doesn't have Omega. Trunks is really good in Omega. And I think that's where, again, a distinction where it's like, JP players may feel better about Trunks than Global players, because Trunks actually works really well with Omega, because you stand by in the STR phase, he does so much damage, you just clear through STR Omega, and then you get to N Omega, and then you just take away like 3 health bars with the Sword of Hope.
Yeah.
Like, just instantly. And like that, when you get like that, like things look really good. But
yeah. Yeah, and all I was going to add to that is obviously I do still think Trunks is good in his like first form, but comparing his like base, quote unquote, because obviously he's a Super Saiyan, but his base form to like God Goku is just like, it's not even close, right? I mean, Trunks can have some great turns if you get the good RNG, whereas God Goku, if you're getting those 6 orbs, like he's getting a guaranteed additional super, which is how he stacks up his defense. We've talked about it before, right? Like when Trunks first came out, Trunks is similar to units like Cooler, where you can get those turns where you just get 1 super and a bunch of additional normals, and then he just gets like slapped around. Whereas God Goku, even if he doesn't get, you're getting 1 super guaranteed, you might not get 1 from the hidden potential, and then you might not get lucky with the dodge, even though it's 60%, but then he's also guarding. And as I think some people said in the chat, it's a lot easier to manage orbs, especially if you know like God Goku's on the next rotation. There's nothing you can do about whether Trunks gets additional supers or not. Like, he either does or he doesn't, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So definitely a trash take right here. So this is actually, funnily enough, I don't know if some people are doing it to be contrarians, but we have the poll up in the chat. Make sure you guys vote on it if you haven't already. There's still a good few people in the live audience that haven't voted on it. If you're listening to this on Spotify or rewatching it later, if you can at some point, come check out the shows live, and you can take part in the sections like this. It won't surprise you to know that L Take is winning by a pretty considerable margin. However, and I'm very disappointed in you guys, there are some people that have voted W Take.
No.
I don't know if they're probably just doing it for the memes, but you never know. So at one point, L Take was at like 90 something percent, and now it's at 84%, right? So a few people out there, maybe they see the vision, right? Of the they're just talking about like, Sword of Hope only for that 1 turn on an orb where God Goku can't even get 3 orbs. Then obviously he is better than him by a mile, I guess. But that's probably the only situation I can think of where this isn't a trash take. So like we said, this guy, he understood the assignment, right?
He did.
Good shout out to
Bill said he's on God's plan, bro. That's wild.
My full crit Trunks actually always does 5 supers and kills a return, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. See. And my God Goku never dodges, even with the 60%. So no, God
always
Goku.
get 5 orbs and he dies.
Nah, he always does. God Goku's peak, but it is annoying that
Yes,
you know
sir.
when you can't get the 6 orbs, it is kind of annoying, especially if like because you can plan orbs to a certain extent, but when you're
Yeah.
going into like a new phase of a fight, or not many bosses do it now, but like you know the boss changes the orbs or something, it can be kind of annoying. But I mean, once God Goku starts getting built up, apart from getting hit with a super that he doesn't dodge, the 6 orbs aren't even necessary for him to still be really good, right? So, and then of course we didn't even touch on his active skill and then his like Super Saiyan form, which I think overall is not as good. Like I usually use it as like a finisher, right? When you know you're in kind of like the last turn or the last phase, but yeah, we didn't even talk about that. So God Goku is very, very good. It's good to see, right? The fact that he, you know, he's the Saiyan Day unit from this year. He's a good 7 months old at this point, and he still is pretty dominant in all the content, has a really good leader skill, good link set. So very, very good. And Trunks is very good as well, as we've all said, right? Trunks does get a little bit of a hard time, maybe a little bit underrated by some people, I think. But
Me, yeah.
I think that happens. Don't you like STR LR Cooler though, Theo? So
I mean,
I love STR. I
him,
love STR LR Cooler, but the number of times he actually doesn't do any additional supers for me, and then I feel really annoyed. That it's like, come on, Cooler, I gas you up, and here you are not doing any additional supers. And Trunks is kind of in the same boat sometimes. So, but anyway, very crazy take. We'll end the poll there. Unsurprisingly, L take is the overwhelming majority winner. Winner of the poll.
Twitter.com, bro.
I think that's
What
the
a place.
biggest like this is the biggest difference, like 82% to 17%.
I think this might actually be, yes, the clear. Although I think it's definitely the biggest in terms of the L take winning, because I think we might have had one in an earlier episode that I think we just all agreed with, that most of the chat agreed with as well. But yeah, in terms of being an overall L, that is a big majority from most of the audience here and the panel.
Yep.
So, I mean, hey, like I say, shout out to Hikes. You know, we got our certified trash take. So, interesting to see. And we'll see, I guess, what's going to be in store for next week. So, I'll take us back to the cams screen here. So I'm sure you guys miss seeing us, but that does lead us to the end of the episode. Finishing on a certified trash take. Look at, there he is, Minato, still plugging away there at the World Tournament. That good old Mar Junior active skill over and over again. So yeah, that is going to lead us into the very final segment. As I say, all of the we'll just read out the donos and super chats from today's episode. So for some reason, as always, Streamlabs is missing one of them, but I have got it up here on another window. So we'll go through these here to give some shout outs. So we have our boy Mega Nice with the donation. I still am never sure what this currency is, the TRY, but 55 TRY. He's just got a shout out. He says, shout out to all my fellow Dr. Wheelo lovers. I have seen a lot of those Dr. Wheelo memes that you've been posting. So
Bro, I don't know what happened. Like, it's so funny because I swear, like, when Dr. Wheelo came up, I was gassing him out, and you're gassing him up, rather, and nobody cared. And then all of a sudden, like, I literally logged on to Twitter one day, and it was one day where I wasn't on Twitter very often that day. And I popped on, and like half the accounts of my notifications were people gassing up Dr. Wheelo. I was like, dude, what happened here?
So yeah, we love to see that. He goes on to say, he says, shout out to the Dr. Wheelo, fellow Dr. Wheelo lovers. You're all amazing. Love you, Ningen, Minato, and Dokkan Assets. Positive vibes to everyone. So we appreciate you, my dude. Thank you for the super chat. We also have Philip Rodriguez in the chat gifted a channel membership, which went to our boy Annie.
Nice.
And our boy Prof, he is a kindred spirit, Theo, a big Heroes fan in my community. He re-upped his membership and he said, wanted to wish everyone as much fun as I will be having during the Heroes live stream, which actually we didn't talk about. The Heroes live stream is on Sunday.
Yes, it is.
I'll be doing a live stream watch along. I imagine you will be as well, Theo. We do love those Heroes celebration stuff. I think if it was last year, was it they revealed was it Hearts they revealed on that stream, or
Heart.
because they normally just tease like
The
one
Heart's
unit,
active
don't
skill.
they?
They just show, yeah. They showed the Heart's active skill, and I think they did at least show the units because usually they just show like the PNG of the card arts.
Yeah,
I think we saw the Super Saiyan 4's SSR arts.
Yeah.
Was that someone said they did that in a thing afterwards, like a tweet or so? I can't remember, but we should
I
see.
remember there was another trailer.
We should see ideally anywhere between 1 to 3 units, and that could be either just the art or it could be one of their animations. But yeah, by the end of Sunday, we should hopefully know at least one of the units that's going to be coming to Heroes.
I'm excited, bro.
Could you imagine?
I'm so excited.
But yeah, best
Listen,
he says.
I'm coping for Rose. So
Oh, dude, please. See. I think it's too early based on what's been in the promotional anime, but who cares? Just bring it out.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But yeah, he says best and most important stream each year. Heroes.
Yes,
Heroes. So yeah, he's on that Heroes agenda.
What's his name? It's the Black Mask scene? The Goku Black
Crimson
scene?
Yeah, that's what we're talking
Crimson
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think it'll be like full power Rose.
Yeah, I feel like they'll
Crimson
do. I feel like they'll do him as like the base masked Goku Black first, and then,
might
or
be the
maybe
case.
he's like base, and then he awakens into Rose next year, and then
that's
on
a
next
good
year's,
idea.
and then on next year's banner, they then drop the Super Saiyan 3 Rose. So Super Saiyan 3 Rose comes out, and the base one from the previous year, he's like the Janemba and Metal Cooler, where he awakens next year, but he awakens into normal Rose, like Rose 1, whatever you want to call it now, and then one of the main banner units is Rose 3. Right, that would be interesting. But, you know, we will wait and see. I think that would be very cool. And then also we have a super chat from Philip Rodriguez for $10. Thank you very much. It says, what are they waiting for with Tech LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku? Give your prediction on what celebration they will throw out his EZA. What would the theme be? Keep being awesome, podcast gang. So thank you very much, Philip Rodriguez. Awesome of you too.
Thank you.
So who wants to take us for a spin? First of all, then our boy LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I'm waiting for this man's EZA. Minato, what do you think?
I'm thinking, you know, usually for December they do like some not December, November. A lot of times they do like some time traveler unit. Bardock we had last year. The year before we had Trunks, right? Kind of matching it with the Heroes unit because time traveling. Tapion's a time travel unit. Next Dokkan Podcast will be Tapion, and then we get LR Super Saiyan 3 EZA.
That's not a bad idea. Low key, honestly, what I would really like, because I think it would be kind of poetic in a way, right? Would be that the Carnival LR, right, would be for Christmas, right? Would be a new Dragon Fist Goku, and then they would EZA him during that celebration, considering that he was one of those units that came out at Christmas time. Yeah, I think it would just be cool, a little homage to the boy.
I think the only downside to that, unless they give him some kind of they throw some support in his passive, if he comes out at the same time as a new Super Saiyan 3 Goku, true. So that situation is always kind of awkward. Although, I mean, they could always make the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku have a different name somehow. Maybe he could be transforms into Super Saiyan 3 or something.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Trunks Kid.
No. Well, actually, how have they done in the past? I'm trying to think about the different ways they've named like exchange and standby units before, because obviously like the Goku that exchanges into Gohan, right, the STR one from Golden Week, he just is a Goku card and is on all the Goku categories and then exchanges into Gohan. But I guess ideally we want him to be a pure Saiyan from the start. So, because I was thinking you could have him be like Trunks and Tapion and exchanges into Goku, but then his categories would be awful.
I got it. Super Saiyan 3 Goku / Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Trunks Kid.
Yeah. I mean, why not at the end of the day, right? Do something interesting. But
low key, they actually could do Vegeta, right? Because there's the scene in the movie where
he has the barrier, because
the barrier, right? He protects all the people. That would be a pretty cool exchange if it's like, Vegeta kind of buying time.
I was about to say that kind of makes him very similar to like the Buu Duo standby, right? Where it's like you standby into Vegeta and then he just like barriers everything. That would be cool though. I mean,
but the thing is that if it's a standby, it would just be Super Saiyan 3 Goku as the name.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, either way,
I guess it
the
could just be the
mechanic is.
exchange. Yeah, use the exchange mechanic and then have him be Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But then
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta could have. Did I say Super Saiyan 3? Oh, well, probably.
Yeah.
So
Look
make the
at
unit
this
Super
guy.
Saiyan. So it's Super Saiyan.
3
Okay.
Vegeta.
So yeah, that would be.
2016,
Hey,
buddy,
you know
get
what?
outta here.
No, you know what? Just make it a what if unit. It's Super Saiyan 3 Goku / Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta.
Yo.
Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 3 and they double Dragon Fist Rudagon. There you go.
Dragon
Give me
Fist.
that.
Look at this Vegeta fanboy.
Yeah,
Oh
damn
my
right.
God.
Damn
You
right.
get it. There you go. Another Dragon Ball Heroes unit for the
I'm
list, brother. Double
cooking.
Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 4.
I hope he
you know
does
what
the
I'm saying?
thumbs up and then just gets demolished and he sucks.
But yeah,
he does
Oh,
the
man.
thumbs up. He has 300% attack and then 50% defense.
Dies.
no, it'd be kind of cool. Like, I guess it'd
Oh,
be
man.
combining a bunch of mechanics, which they've never really, well, they haven't done to this extent. But imagine
Yeah.
you could call the unit Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, god damn it, / Super Saiyan Vegeta. He exchanges into Vegeta, but then Vegeta has a standby that ends with the Dragon Fist. Like, that would be pretty
Super
cool.
Saiyan
that'd be
3
cool.
Goku, Z
Yeah.
Fighters.
Or that, yeah.
But that would be sick.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be sick. Yeah, I would love that. I mean, I think either way, like, there's still so many. It's always so crazy to me to think like, with even just one movie, there's still so many things that they could do and so many cards that they could make. You know.
So I just saw this like stupid Spider-Man 2 glitch.
Oh, I see.
Wait,
But
extra. I mean, I'm gonna send it to you, Dokkan Assets. I'm sorry, it's so funny.
okay,
It's not a
No, you're
spoiler.
fine.
But yeah,
No,
so-
I was gonna say. By the way, I completely forgot to mention this earlier. The reason why I was laughing when you were talking about like the upcoming global banners was because the way you enunciated Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Omega, you said Super Saiyan 4 Omega, and then instantly I had an image of Omega in Super Saiyan 4.
Oh, God.
I was,
I was like, oh.
when I said Super Saiyan 4, I
Yeah,
presumed
no,
I
you meant
knew
Goku
I meant
and then
Goku.
Omega.
Super Saiyan
Yeah,
4,
yeah.
comma, Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah. But...
Yeah, right.
But in my mind, I was like, oh my.
Super Saiyan 4 Mega.
Sounds disgusting, bro. That's a heroes unit if I've ever seen one right there, bro.
Imagine.
Well,
Oh,
but yeah,
man.
so very interesting to think about when that could possibly happen. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I feel like if it's not a Tapion, they could drop it with any other Super Saiyan 3. So if we were to
Saiyan
get
3
like a new
Gotenks.
Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, or, you know, we've already mentioned it now by accident, but if they were to do a new Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta or Super Saiyan 3 Broly, because hey, they did them before as Dokkan Fest randomly when no one ever expected them to. So any new Super Saiyan 3, they could throw Super Saiyan 3 Goku's EZA into that celebration, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully it comes. I mean, is he the oldest unit that doesn't have an EZA? Because now Jiren and Goku Black have theirs.
Oh
yeah.
my god, Dokkan
So-
Assets.
Oh,
Look at these guys
boy.
over here. They can't even wait for the podcast to finish and they're back on their Spider-Man memes. Oh no, that is actually, oh god. Can I get that up on the screen? It's
I
really
think you
difficult
can
to
get that
do.
up on the screen. That's
Ow.
disgusting.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
I don't think I can get it up in a way that you can see it here. There is a picture of a Super Saiyan 4 Omega, and it is a cursed image. Will it come up?
I'm
No.
gonna just put the link in the chat.
Yeah,
Why
you can
not?
do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there
true.
you go.
All right, well,
Hey, chat.
I'll give you that.
that's-
That can be your parting gift from the podcast here. A terrible
Oh,
cursed
that's
image of Super Saiyan 4
disgusting.
Omega. Obviously, again, if you're watching
Oh.
this on demand, I think you can see the chat, or I say on demand, the recap. If you're on Spotify, obviously you can't see this glorious feast for the eyes, but I think that is a perfect note to wrap it up here.
Oh,
So-
man, I think so too.
So.
Everybody in the chat's just go, yo, why the oh no.
So that's a perfect note to leave it on. So that is going to be it for
man.
episode 8 of the Slot 1 Super Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Shout
you
out again
so
to
much.
everybody who did give support during this episode. Shout out to our trashest trash take so far, Hikes. I appreciate you. Even if it was bait,
Appreciate
hey,
it, bro.
the bait, we took the bait, right? And it was a good,
We
it was
did.
a,
We
it was a
took the
funny,
bait.
it was a funny segment, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's going to be it from me, the Master Ningen. Shout out to my boys, as always, Minato and Dokkan Assets, for being on the show with me. And we will be back again same time next week. The VOD for the episode stays up now. So if you are coming into this late, or you are coming into it after, you know, the next day, 2 days after, the link will still be live, so you can click on that to watch the show back, or the Spotify version will be up tomorrow at the same time that the episode went live, so basically 24 hours after the live premiere started. So we appreciate all of you guys coming out, and we will see you again next week. So anything you guys want to say before I lead us with the outro screen?
Yeah, enjoy Spider-Man, enjoy Mario Wonder,
enjoy the World Tournament.
Don't enjoy World Tournament.
Enjoy Super Saiyan 4 Omega.
Enjoy Super Saiyan 4 Omega.
There you go. Enjoy Super Saiyan 4 Omega. Peace out.
See ya.